हा मॅडम केले, त्यांनी को-होस्ट केले मला.
सत्य सर.
सर हॅलो सर, आवाज येतोय ऐकू माझा?
हा, आवाज स्पष्ट येतोय का ऐकू? पण स्पष्ट आवाज येतोय?
हो येतोय सर, ऐकू येतोय व्यवस्थित.
हा, ओके.
व्हिडिओ पण ओके सर, काही प्रॉब्लेम नाही.
बर
हो
थँक्यू.
हो येस येस. को-होस्ट करायचं.
संगीता मॅडम, गुड आफ्टरनून.
हा, गुड आफ्टरनून सर.
हा, मी तुम्हाला एक फोन करतोय, फोनवरती बोलू जरा.
मला होस्टच केलं नाही आणि अवघड आहे. हेलो, हो गया, लेकिन मैम मुझे होस्ट नहीं किया है.
नाही सत्य बहुतेक मला केलंय, बहुतेक त्यांना म्हणावं मॅडमना नको, मला करा असं.
हाँ, आपने प्रिंसिपल मैम हमारी उनको होस्ट किया है, मुझे कर लो आप. ओके
अच्छा ठीक आहे. मैं चिंतामणी मी करते.
प्रिंसिपल मैम ट्राई कर रही है. ओके ओके ओके. येस येस, थँक्यू मॅम, थँक्यू व्हेरी मच.
हा, केलं. आता मला को होस्ट कर.
हो करतो मॅडम.
केलं मी तुला.
येस येस. हो
आता सगळ्यांना कर. कुचेकर सर आहेत, नंतर लांजेकर सर.
हो, आज यांचं आहे ना, जोशी मॅम, त्यांना पण केलंय.
संगीता जोशी.
हो, त्यांना केलं.
पाब्रेकर सर.
हो, त्यांनाही करतो. जोशी सर, पाब्रेकर सर, त्यांनाही करतो.
सीमा मॅडम नमस्कार.
नमस्कार. नमस्कार.
एक मिनिट बघतो रिमोट लगेच.
कसे आहात तुम्ही?
आज बरं.
ओके, बघतो.
इथं क्लिक करा.
चांगलं आहे.
I had done suggestion for your certificate format, right?
हो हो, अच्छा. हो.
पावरेकर सर नमस्ते.
नमस्ते. Hello. Yes madam, how are you? Thank you.
Yes, fine sir, today laptop is working.
Okay, very good.
एक काम करा, मीटिंग रूम मध्ये ना फायरवॉल लॉग इन करून दिले, तर त्यांच्या लक्षात नसेल आलं. हेलो. हाँ मैम, हो गया सर. मैम हो गया. ओके, थैंक यू. यस.
पुरोहित मॅडम नमस्कार. अरे नमस्कार. वेलकम.
थँक्यू थँक्यू.
नमस्कार कुचेकर.
संगीता मॅडम.
नमस्कार सर. नमस्कार.
संगीता मॅडम.
हो सर.
तुमची फ्रेम ऍडजस्ट करा, सेंटरला या. तुम्ही थोडं साईडला गेलं. हा that's it.
हे आम्हाला गणपती आणायचा होता ना, म्हणून आम्ही थोडं साईडला घेतलं.
दॅट इज ओके. दॅट इज गणपती का तुमचं विद्येचं आराध्य दैवत आहे, तुमच्या मागे आहे बरोबर.
मला तो लागतोच मला. And all my sessions he is along with me.
ओके ठीक आहे.
बाप्पा मोरया.
With his blessings only all things are happening.
Yes, yeah, even I do believe in that. Yes,
Yes.
right. That is always.
पावरेकर सर नमस्कार. मी कुचेकर.
नमस्कार सर.
जोशी मॅम तुम्हाला को होस्ट केलंय. प्रेझेंटेशन एकदा शेअर करून बघताय प्लीज.
हो बघते.
ओके थँक्यू.
पाबरेकर सर नमस्कार. उदय बोलतो अमरावती.
हॅलो. हा उदय. नमस्कार. गुड.
दिसते का स्क्रीन? हा. येस.
हो येस
Yes,
इट इज विजिबल.
Okay, I'll stop sharing.
येस मॅडम प्लीज.
Thank you. म्हणजे 2 लॉग इन आहेत तर 2 व्ह्यूज दिसत आहेत का?
नाही तुमचं एकच आहे.
एकच आहे ना. हा, कारण मी 2 डिव्हाइस वरनं केलंय. एक चार्ट पाहायला जमत नाही ना नाहीतर.
नाही. बट देन यू डोंट वरी अबाउट चॅट. वी हॅव अ सेपरेट पर्सन. आम्ही
नाही असंच आहे पण
रेपोर्टियर या इन केस एनिथिंग.
काही प्रश्न विचारले वगैरे तर कळत नाही.
संगीता मॅडम नमस्कार. सीमा मॅडम नमस्कार.
नमस्कार.
नमस्कार जोशी सर.
नमस्कार. कशा आहात मॅडम?
मस्त मजेत सर. आपण कसे आहात?
एकदम छान. जोशी मॅडम आपण इंजिनिअरिंग कॉलेजसाठी असा एक पुन्हा एकदा कार्यक्रम करतोय.
बरोबर.
म्हणजे जी ऑटोनॉमस इंजिनिअरिंग कॉलेजेस आहेत त्यांच्यासाठी. कारण असं झालं की या कार्यक्रमाला बऱ्याच मंडळींचं म्हणणं असं होतं की आम्हाला येऊ द्या. आम्ही त्यांना सांगितलं की काय काय गोष्टी तुमच्या रेलिव्हंट नसतील ते आवडणार नाही, तर त्यामुळे आपण तुमच्यासाठी वेगळा कार्यक्रम करू. तर स्ट्रॅटेजीज फॉर सस्टेनिंग क्वालिटी कल्चर इन ऑटोनॉमस कॉलेजेस अशा पद्धतीचा काहीतरी विचार आहे. आणि तिकडे सुद्धा हे सगळं आपलं आउटकम बेस्ड असेसमेंट स्ट्रॅटेजी किंवा तुमचं सीओपीओ मॅपिंग आणि अटेनमेंट ऑफ सीओपीओ.
गुड.
मल्टीडिसिप्लिनरी.
म्हणजे आजच्या ह्याच्यात एकही इंजिनिअरिंग कॉलेज नाहीये ना?
नाही. आजच्या ह्याच्यात पूर्ण आपण ह्याच्यासाठीच आर्ट्स
सायन्स अँड कॉमर्स.
ओके.
कारण ते थोडस मग हे होतं ना वेगळं.
बरोबर आहे. अजेंडा बदलतो थोडा.
एम्प्लॉयबिलिटी इन करिक्युलम डिझाईन वगैरे असे सगळे विषय ठेवून
रिलेव्हन्स थोडा वेगळा येतो. बरोबर आहे.
हा.
बरोबर आहे.
आणि नंतर काय होतं की बरंचसं सारखं असतं पण ते डिसिल्युजन व्हायला लागतात लोक. त्यांना वाटतं हे आपलं नाही. म्हणजे उदाहरणार्थ ते आपल्या सॉफ्टवेअर मध्ये डीन रिसर्च असं आलं की आर्ट्स कॉमर्स वाल्यांना वाटतं आमचं नाही.
आमच्याकडे तर फारच वेगळ्या टर्मिनॉलॉजी आहेत. आमच्याकडे चीफ अकॅडमिक ऑफिसर, चीफ ऑपरेशनल ऑफिसर, हे डीन हा शब्दच नाहीये. म्हणजे ते थोडं
वेगळं आहे.
अनकॉमन आहे.
आणि तुम्ही सीओपीओच्या बद्दल इंजिनिअरिंग सेक्शन खूप पुढे गेलेले ऑलरेडी.
बरोबर आहे.
आणि तुमचं त्या वॉशिंग्टन अकॉर्ड प्रमाणे तुम्ही लोकांनी खूप चांगलं केलंय. आर्ट्स कॉमर्स मध्ये अजूनही त्याची सुरुवात आहे. म्हणजे
नाही, म्हणूनच मी खूप बेसिक्स घेणार आहे सर. अगदी त्यांना एबीसीडी पासून घेणार आहे. कुणाला रिपीट होईल कदाचित ते.
नाही, पण इट इज रिअली व्हेरी गुड. इट इज इसेन्शियल. कारण सर म्हणाले तसं बरोबर आहे. कारण तिकडे खूप स्ट्रक्चर्ड होतं. म्हणजे सगळे सेट होते प्रोसेसेस की सीओ काय, पीओ, इवन क्वेश्चन पेपर्स ऑल्सो.
हो, त्या प्री टेम्पलेट्स आहेत. म्हणजे प्री फॉर्मॅटेड टेम्पलेट्स आहेत.
कारण I used to be on SPIT, Academic Council of SPIT, so I used to visit regularly. प्राची गारपुरे मॅडम होत्या ना.
प्राची मैत्रीणच आहे. हो,
राईट.
अच्छा अच्छा. SPIT ला होत्या का?
हो. त्यामुळे शी इज नाउ इंदोर ना.
आणि हे वेलिंगकर पण तुमचं आहे का? तुमच्या मॅनेजमेंटचं आहे का?
नाही, वेलिंगकर इज फॉर
पुण्यातलं कुठलं मॅनेजमेंट?
एसपी मंडली.
आमचं
आहे ते डेक्कन एज्युकेशन सोसायटी.
डेक्कन एज्युकेशन.
आवर्स इज डेक्कन एज्युकेशन सोसायटी. म्हणजे फर्ग्युसन कॉलेज, आवर्स, बृहन महाराष्ट्र कॉलेज ऑफ कॉमर्स अँड मुंबई कीर्ती कॉलेज,
विलिंग्डन कॉलेज,
सांगली विलिंग्डन, चिंतामणराव देशमुख कॉलेज ऑफ.
पसारा मोठा आहे सगळा.
नाही, ऐतिहासिक संस्थाच मुळे ऐतिहासिक आहे. खूप
ऑलमोस्ट 137 year old.
म्हणूनच आय एम ऑल्सो फीलिंग व्हेरी प्राऊड फीलिंग टुडे की आय एम अमंगस्ट यू ऑल.
अरे
इट्स प्रिव्हिलेज टू गिव्ह लेक्चर इन ऑन युअर कॉलेज बिहाफ.
संगीता मॅडम
बोला ना सर.
सर म्हणाले त्याप्रमाणे लक्षात ठेवा. वी विल बी शेअरिंग द टॉपिक्स ऑफ दॅट इन प्रोग्राम आणि वी विल बी ऑल्सो रिक्वेस्टिंग यू टू सजेस्ट सम गुड नेम्स ऑफ रिसोर्स पर्सन फॉर दॅट.
हो, शुअर सर, शुअर. टॉपिक्स माझ्या दृष्टीने काय असावेत ते लिहिते मी आणि तुम्हाला रिसोर्स पर्सनची लिस्ट पण देते.
दॅट इज बेटर. बिकॉज जोशी सर ऑलवेज से दॅट वी मस्ट हॅव अ पूल ऑफ रिसोर्स पर्सन्स.
येस, डेफिनेटली सर. बॅकअप्स आपल्याला हवेतच.
आता आमच्या लक्षात कसं आलं की आता शाहू कॉलेज पुणे आहे, त्यांच्याकडे खूप चांगलं काम होतं. किंवा नांदेडचं कॉलेज आहे, ते पण जुनं कॉलेज आहे.
ते माझंच कॉलेज आहे सर. आय एम बेसिकली फ्रॉम दॅट कॉलेज.
जोशी सर आमचे मित्र आहेत, प्रिन्सिपल तिकडे.
आयव्ही माझा क्लासमेटच आहे.
अच्छा, हा, ते आहे. किंवा आणखीन पण अशी 2-3 आता सीओपी तुमचं पुण्याचं ऑटोनॉमस झालं नसलं तरी काही बाबतीमध्ये ते खूप पुढे आहेत. त्यांच्याकडे पण काही लोक आहेत की जी चांगलं बोलू शकतात. महाराष्ट्रामधले म्हणजे भारताभरामधले उत्तम लोक आपण. कालचं फारच सुंदर झालं आमच्या. तुम्ही ऐकायला पाहिजे, फार सुंदर बोलल्या त्या मॅडम.
मी 3 वाजता जॉईन झाले, मला माहितीच नाही.
सकाळचं होतं, मॉर्निंग सेशन होतं.
शेवटी मी सरांना फोन केला, म्हणजे मेसेज टाकला, सर मला काही.
वी आर रिअली व्हेरी सॉरी.
नाही, संगीता मॅडम, आय ऑलवेज टेल एव्हरीबडी यू मस्ट रीड द डॉक्युमेंट सेंड बाय मी कम्प्लिटली. My document is always clear with all things very clearly.
नाही असेल कदाचित, पण मला नाही लक्षात आलं. ओव्हरलुक झालं ते. कुठला विषय होता त्यांचा? NSQF काहीतरी होतं ना?
नाही, मल्टीडिसिप्लिनरी.
ओके.
फार छान बोलल्या, फार छान.
अँड त्यांचं ते शी हॅज दॅट ॲबिलिटी. शी आणि हे थोडंसं फिलॉसॉफिकल होऊन जातं ना, त्यामुळे.
बघू, रेकॉर्डिंग असेल तर, लिंक असेल तर ऐकेन मी.
शुअर आहे, आम्ही केलेलं आहे. वी हॅव.
आपण सुरू करूया सर.
It is 3 o'clock. Just let us begin.
Yes.
Good afternoon to one and all. On behalf of Deccan Education Society's BRIHAN Maharashtra College of Commerce and RUSA, I welcome you all for this 4th day of the Faculty Development Program. Today we have with us Dr. Sangeeta Joshi, who will guide us on formulating program outcomes, program specific outcomes, and course outcomes. I request Dr. Kutsekar sir to introduce her first. Thank you.
Okay, good afternoon.
Yes.
It gives me a great pleasure to introduce our today's guest speaker, Dr. Sangeeta M. Joshi. Presently, she is working as a professor and technical advisor at Vidyalankar Institute of Technology, Mumbai. She is also holding the responsibility of Director, IQAC and NAAC convener. She has 30 years of teaching experience, including 13 years of administrative experience at the Directorate of Technical Education, Maharashtra State, Mumbai. At the DTE office, she worked as a head quality assurance cell in the World Bank assisted project Technical Education Quality Improvement Program, and also worked as an in charge of Maharashtra State Engineering and other professional courses admission process. She has also organized more than 160 training programs for various stakeholders during her tenure. She was awarded gold medal by the then Honorable Chief Minister Sri Shankarrauji Chauhan for securing first rank in the year 1986-87 in Bachelor from Marathwada University, and she also secured rank first in Masters of Engineering at Swami Ramananda University. She did her PhD in microelectronics from Indian Institute of Technology, Bombay, India in 2001. Her PhD thesis was nominated for the Best Thesis Award at 44th DAE Solid State Physics Symposium held at Punjab University. Her academic field of interest are VLSI designed for the deep submicron CMOS technology and simulation of modeling of nano devices. She has more than 120 publications to her credit. Her 3 research papers received Best Paper Award and PhD degree is awarded to 4 engineering students under her able guidance. She has won Australian patent at her credit in the area of ad hoc wireless network. She is a recipient of Academic Excellence Award given by Institution of Engineering at Father C. Rodrigues Institute of Technology, Mumbai. She is a recipient of Bharat Vikas Award given by Institute of Self-Reliance, Bhubaneswar, Odisha, and Global Research Award. She has also worked as a reviewer for the NPTEL video course on fabrication of silicon VLSI circuits using the MOS technology by faculty member Professor A.N. Chandarkar of IIT Bombay during January 2016. She has contributed to the many state level reports like re-engineering of technical professional courses, promotion and regulation of autonomy in the Maharashtra state, to mention a few. She has also worked as a general chair for the 3rd International Conference on Recent Advancement and Challenges in the Engineering and Management held on December 2016 at Vidyalankar Institute of Technology, Mumbai, and work as a coordinator for the national workshops like how to transform engineering institute in the Maharashtra into world-class institute, and how to make engineering institute world class, some lessons from TEQIP is Technical Education Quality Improvement Program of Government of India and Autonomy Experiments. Organized by DTE, besides delivering seminars and workshops at many higher and technical institutes on NAAC related subjects. Being an IQAC director, she has taken many quality initiatives like development of performance appraisal system, faculty review system, accreditation work, etc. at Vidyalankar Institute. Now I request Dr. Sangeeta Joshi, madam, to start her speech. Thank you, madam.
Yes. Well, thank you, Professor Kuzekar, for kind words of introduction. Honorable Dr. Vijay Joshi, sir, Dr. Pramod Pabrikar, sir, from Rashtriya Uchatar Shiksha Abhiyan, Government of Maharashtra, Principal of the Institute, Dr. Seema Purohit, Madam, and Coordinator for this event, Professor Varsha Deshpande, and my dear participants. Indeed, it is a great pleasure to interact with you all on this, during this faculty development program. In the beginning, when Dr. Pabrikar told me that, Madam, you are going to deliver a lecture on this topic, and the audience is from Arts, Commerce, Science College, and the topic is core from engineering accreditation, National Board of Accreditation, I was a bit reluctant, because I was doubting at my compatibility, whether I'll be able to deliver to the level they are expecting me to deliver. So expected learning outcome, whether it will be achieved or not, I was doubtful. But since then, I tried my best to prepare the PPTs, and today the day has come. So let me share my screen with you all. And please feel free whenever interaction period is there. Actually, I have merged both the session into one session. The first session is 1.5 hours till 4:30, and the second is on the exercise and the activities. So what I have done, once I have completed that small portion, then we can have a small quizzes and activities, just to let us understand whether the learning outcomes have been achieved for that component or not. Okay. So feel free to ask me questions anytime. You can unmute if possible, or you can put it in chat box. So let me share my screen. Share the screen. So let me adjust this view, because that might be disturbing to you all. Just a minute, give me a minute to adjust.
It's okay, it's quite within the frame.
Still, I'll only make the speaker's view, so that even I will not get disturbed many times. Actually, I'm not used to with Zoom. We are all the time using the MS Team platform.
Yeah, we have also been using, but when it comes to participation from all other parts.
Yeah, I know.
I know.
So anyway, let it be. I'm not.
It is okay. It has been adjusted.
No, sometimes it disturbs the slide contents.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Anyway. So well, the session title is Formulating COs, POs, PSOs and their mappings and reflection in AACAR. By this time, you must have been familiarized with these words: what is CO, what is PO, what is PSO, because in the revised accreditation framework, NAAC has made it a point to become an object this outcome orientation, ICT intensive, robust, scalable, all these attributes they have actually implemented in the revised accreditation framework. And by this time, each one of you at least have had word, must have had word this COs, POs and PSOs. So let us get more familiar through this session. So I would be, my agenda would be like this. First, I'll speak on OBE, general philosophy. OBE is the outcome-based education. What is this? Is the outcome-based education. And this is required because this first probably 4 topics as a prerequisite for this session. Once you are able to understand what is the philosophy, then probably the grasping would be more faster for the remaining 4 topics. So we'll start with the philosophy. Then what is mean by general word outcome? What is the expected outcome? Then how to formulate general learning outcome, not very specific to course outcome, because anything can be learning outcome. Today's session also is having a learning outcome. And then how learning happens through Bloom's taxonomy, because he has given a lot of significant contribution to this topic. So let us understand this Bloom's taxonomy. And then using this Bloom's taxonomy, how can we embed this taxonomy into the course outcomes using the action verbs of the Bloom's taxonomy? Let us go into the details of that, and then you will be able to frame or articulate or formulate the course outcomes in a better way. That is what my gut feel is. And then subsequently program outcomes, program specific outcomes. What does it mean? And then the important crux of this today's session, that is the course outcome and program outcome and PSO mapping, and how it is relevant to the NAAC process. That is reflection of this in ACAR. So let us move ahead. Let us start with the OBE as a general philosophy. All of you know that whenever in any educational institute, these are the components which are required, like teaching learning. This is always so this is a teaching learning process, which we all know. I'll just use this where it is. Yeah. So basically it is nothing but a planning of a course, planning of a subject. Here throughout my session, I'll be using the word course for the subject, right? And then it is based on a quality assurance technique, which is called as the PDCA. That is the planning, then we are doing, then we are checking, and then the act, PDCA cycle. So OBE is basically based on this PDCA cycle. Now what do we do? But here it is a reverse planning. I mean, in the reverse planning, first we are actually defining the outcomes. That means at the end of the course or at the end of the program, what the students are able to achieve. So that is to be defined first. According to the planning, we are doing our teaching learning process. And subsequently, we are actually using the assessment tools for evaluation of the students. And then if the attainment of the outcomes are not up to the mark, then if you are finding any gap, then mitigation of the gap is through ACT. That is the improvement. So assessment, improvement, and again you are doing the, I mean, this cycle is basically giving you the best possible outcome-based education. So in a short, we can say that this outcome-based education can be, it is a clear focusing and organizing everything in an educational system around what is essential for all students to be able to do successfully at the end of their learning experience. Now this learning experience may be your lesson learning experience, maybe your module learning experience, maybe your course learning experience, or maybe your program learning experience. So basically here what we are doing, it is giving you a clear picture that what students will be able to do at the end of your course or your program. And it is a reverse engineering in the sense, or the top-down approach in the sense, you're organizing curriculum, I mean framing of curriculum, your teaching learning instruction plan, and accordingly what kind of assessment or the evaluation you are supposed to conduct. So everything will be actually moving around your learning outcomes or your program outcomes or your course outcomes. So that is what the philosophy of the outcome-based education is. So basically the basic principle of the outcome-based education is the clarity of focus. So that is what I have told you. Then the expanded opportunity, and then the high expectations for all to succeed. Why high expectations? Because COs are in your hand, course outcomes you are writing. So you are expecting that outcome to achieve. and then the design down from your ultimate culminating outcomes. Design down means, as I have told you, learning outcomes you are writing in the beginning. You are predicting that in the beginning. What kind of skills, knowledge, and abilities, and attitude and behavior your students are supposed to have. And then you are designing everything, all components of your institute. And these are the assumptions. Okay, here the most important assumption is all students can learn and succeed, but not on the same day and in the same way. We know that there are diversified students. I mean, students of slow learners, there are advanced learners, and outcome-based education is actually accommodating everybody. So moving ahead, again, I can tell you that in any course, in any program, what is there, what to teach, and we take that from your curriculum. So this what to teach fact is taking from the curriculum. Then that comes the content delivery. That means how do you teach, how to teach in the class. So that is your content delivery, how to teach in the class. And that is nothing but the OBTL, outcome-based teaching learning process. And then how to assess the students. Of course, this evaluation has to go hand in hand with what you had planned, what outcomes you had planned. And therefore, OBEA, AE, that is assessment and evaluation, it goes, that is continuous assessment, then the in semester and the end semester. So everything has to be interlinked with each other. That is what the outcome-based education is. And that is very important. If I'm planning something and if I'm not asking or not evaluating those outcomes, then definitely that is meaningless. So whatever I am planning, whatever I am expecting my students to achieve, I am supposed to take the examination on those plannings. Then only the outcome-based education would happen. So this is again the same thing I have written, developing a clear set of learning outcomes around which all system components can be focused. I mean, you're all the time moving around these components only. What is my course outcome? And hardly what happens whenever being a teacher, I'm also telling you, I mean, hardly any teacher would be telling in the class that today this outcome we are looking into, whether we are able to attain this outcome or not. We never use this terminology in the class, but that is not correct. We, in every lesson, in every lecture, in every session, we should tell students which is the learning outcome which we are focusing today. In every lab, practicals, what skills we are achieving by doing this experiment, what kind of design, development, analysis, creativity we are achieving through doing this mini project. So that is what is expected in a OBE. And it majorly emphasizes on stating what you want your students to be able to do. I mean, this is very important, what students are able to do at the end of the program. And then accordingly assessing the students whether they are able to do what they are expected to do. And then accordingly orienting teaching and other academic processes to facilitate students to do what they're expected to do. So these 1, 2, 3 components are supposed to go interlinked and hand in hand. That is most important. This picture clearly gives you the idea about what the OBE philosophy is. Now, you know that even if it is a corporate or industry or any educational organization, actually it goes from the vision and mission and objectives. So on the top, what is it is the vision and mission. Okay. And then you will find that program educational objectives. I'll not go into the details of this, but definitely we'll go into the details of program outcomes. Program. What is the meaning of program? Program is nothing but your discipline. Commerce is your discipline, arts is your discipline, science is your discipline. So that is called as the program. Maybe that program with some specialization become with finance. So maybe art with music. So art with history, art with some other thing. So that is called as the program. So program outcome, at the end of the program, what you would like students to get achieved. And then course is nothing but the subject. Now mind you, this course may be your theory course, you may be having a lab course. Sometimes they are integrated into one by the university. Sometimes they are under the separate head of passing. Lab is having a separate code, theory is having a separate code. So that is also possible. So that is called as the course. Now here it is at a course level, this is at a program level, and vision and mission is at the institute level. Mind you, one more thing which is very important, as long as the development of these outcomes are concerned, or entire process is concerned, it is a top-down approach, and therefore this arrow of development is going down from top to down. It is actually directing. Whereas if you find this attainment means what? मराठीमध्ये आपण त्याला म्हणतो की जसं अचीव केलंय का नाही, एखादं टार्गेट मी सेट केलंय, whether I have achieved that target or not, that is called as the attainment. So the attainment goes from course to the vision and mission. See, we are not defining the course outcomes in the beginning. We are actually, any संस्था जेव्हा एखादी उभी राहते तेव्हा त्याचं विजन आणि मिशन आधी तयार होतं, आणि मग खालच्या सगळ्या गोष्टी अकॉर्डिंगली आपण त्याला इन अलाइनमेंट विथ द विजन अँड मिशन we start implementing and we start defining and constructing. That is how the development part is from top to down, and attainment is from bottom to up. This is the another picture of the same philosophy, but why I have put this slide? Because slightly different terminology is there in the what you can say engineering courses and arts commerce science. We call it as a PO and CO. I have gone through some different university and UGC documents. They are calling here as a program learning outcomes and the course learning outcomes. You are calling it as a PLO and CLO. So please do not get confused. Sometimes I'll be using the word COPO or maybe PCLO, PLO. Another difference is that you might be surprised to know that why NAAC has introduced this component into their revised accreditation framework. The thing is that in the case of NBA, which we do for the professional courses, so it is a program wise assessment, program level assessment. That means engineering college, electronics department is there, then the computer department is there, IT department is there. So basically it is at the program level. So every department, in my college also there are 3 departments which are NBA accredited. There are 2 departments which are not NBA accredited. And in the NAAC, it is an institute level assessment. Actually, you whenever I say it is the vision and mission of an institute, but whenever you are writing the program outcomes, course outcomes, and program educational objectives, or vision and mission of your department also you should write. But of course, the condition is that it has to be in alignment with what my institute is expecting as a vision and mission. So that alignment factor has to keep in mind. So otherwise, I mean, although PO and CO, we are working through this 2.6.1 and 2.6.2, but basically that is relevant to the program and the different courses. And although they are not asking you the vision and mission of a program, but I would say it is always appropriate to have that vision and mission. So moving ahead. So what is vision and mission? So vision is it is basically, you know, whenever you establish any organization and somebody tells you to write the vision for your institute. So basically you should be able to write in a very concise, or maybe in some statements, what you would like your institute to be down the line 5 years or down the line 10 years. I mean, futuristic statement. भविष्यात मला माझी संस्था कशी पाहिजे आहे, किती दिवसांनी, मे बी 4 वर्षांनी, 5 वर्षांनी, 10 वर्षांनी. I would like to achieve over a long period of time. That is called as the vision. Okay. So vision is for tomorrow. You are writing the vision. It focuses what is your tomorrow, maybe 5 years after, maybe 10 years after. Mission means what? Mission is, it proposes to move forward to this. I mean, what are the means and ways by which you want to move forward or towards your stated vision. I have set my target. I would like to be a world-class institute after 10 years. But what mission I'll have to accomplish? What mission I have to move forward, which will be actually able to give me that vision? So that is called as the mission. And definitely missions is statements we are writing in order to achieve the vision. That is definitely there. So mission is today. Today what I am doing and what I am doing for getting the tomorrow's vision. Okay, what I want to become is the vision, and what I am today doing for achieving that vision is the mission. Because many stakeholders normally get confused between these two terminologies. So therefore I started with a couple of slides on this. I have just given one example of IIT Bombay just to more understand about this. Now you can see that in the IIT Bombay's vision is like this. to be a leading global technology. Okay, so global technology is the vision. University, global technology university that provides a transformative education to create leaders and innovators. Okay, and generate new knowledge for society and industry. Now, how many components we are seeing here? See, they would like to definitely across the globe, they would like to be a global technology university. That is their first point. Second point is they would like to provide a transformative education to the student. This is the second point. This is the first point. Then they would like to generate the innovators and create academicians as a leaders. Then generate new knowledge for the society and industry. That means they would like to give services to the society as well as the industry. And in order to achieve that, they would like to generate the new knowledge, that is nothing but the research. So all these four components of this vision, they are writing the mission like this. Definitely, whenever you would like to be such a global university, so you need to have a conducive environment. So to create an ambience in which the new ideas, research, scholarship flourish, and from which the leaders and innovators of tomorrow emerge. So definitely conducive environment they are writing in this vision mission. Then address problems faced by the nation and the world through the talent we nurture and the research we do. Definitely, unless you understand the problems, national problems and the world problems, you cannot actually move forward for the research and nurture your budding engineers accordingly. So that is the point they have taken in the second mission. Now they have told about the transformative education, and that is how in this mission they are talking about the education that transforms students through rigorous coursework and by providing understanding of the needs of the society. Unless you understand what the society is, what applications are to be deployed for the society betterment and the industry betterment, then only you can actually provide the service to community and the industry. And of course, collaboration and networking with the other institutes is definitely required, and to strengthen the education and the research ecosystem. So this vision is to be broken down into different components, and those components, for each of these components, mission is to be established. So that is the basic difference between the vision and mission. I have just included one more example for you. We know all of you are much familiar with the Google, whatever every day these days, even our students or children are also telling about the Google Baba. कुछ भी नहीं मिलता है तो चलो टाइप करो देखो, टीचर का भी जरूरत नहीं है. So to provide access to the world's information in one click, that is the vision of the Google, isn't it? So, and what is the mission? Mission is to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. Okay, so they are supposed to get the world's information, and then that is to be organized. Unless they organize it properly, they will not be able to provide you that information, and universally accessible and useful. Okay. So with this, the first component is over. That is the what is mean by vision and mission. Now let us understand what is mean by the outcomes. Okay. As I had told you, the very simple definition of the outcome is that what you are going to achieve at the end of this activity. Maybe the activity is today's session, maybe it is the entire FDP, maybe it is your lecture session, or maybe it is your course. That is what is your learning after the learning happens, or after the learning gets over. So from the learning experience, or at the end of your learning experience, what is the result that you can demonstrate, or what is the learning results? So these are nothing but the learning results. Here it is written, outcomes are the learning results. Okay, clearly learning result that we want students to demonstrate. Now the most important word is the demonstrate. मला समजलंय, मला शिकलोय, मला मिळालंय, अभ्यास केलाय, हे चालणार नाही. The student has obtained the knowledge through your course, but is he able to demonstrate it at the end of the course or at the end of the program? That demonstration is more focused in the outcomes. I mean, action has to happen. You will have to write some words or verbs which will be focusing on the performance of a student. Students will be able to perform that action. That is the learning outcome. So basically it is मला कळलंय, झालंय, psychological belief असं काही नाही. Attitude मला समजलंय, मला नॉलेज मिळालंय, अशा पंट्या ठोकून चालणार नाही. what learners can actually do and what they know and have learned. Ata whenever they know, they understood, then only they can do something, and that is what the learning outcome is. Okay, so it has to be the tangible application of what that has been learned. म्हणजे लर्निंग मधून काय जे निष्पन्न होणार आहे, त्यांना करता येण्यासारखं आहे, परफॉर्म करता येण्यासारखं आहे, they can demonstrate you, that is called as the learning outcome. Okay, so action and performance. Why I'm telling you this slide in detail, because these words are very important for formulating the program outcomes and course outcomes. So action and performances that represent and reflect the learner competence. हा word शब्द फार महत्वाचा आहे, competence. Why competence? Because learner competence would be only reflected whenever he is showing you some action, demonstration, performance, some creativity, some analysis, some design he is able to do on his own. Then only we can understood. त्याला काही कळलंच नाही तर त्याला डिझाईन करता येणार नाही, सिस्टम डेव्हलप करता येणार नाही, मिनी प्रोजेक्ट करता येणार नाही. And therefore this competency of a student is very important. Okay, so that has to happen. So the major thing in the outcome based education I have told is that having learners do important things with what they know is a major step beyond knowing itself. म्हणजे मला समजलंय, मला येतंय असं म्हणून चालणार नाही, त्याच्या बियॉन्ड जायला लागणार आहे, करून दाखवायला लागणार आहे, त्याला म्हणायचं आपण आउटकम. ओके, I hope since everybody is from Maharashtra, sometimes I'll be using the Marathi words to understand it in a better way.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Thank you. Because outcomes involve actual doing rather than just knowing, or a variety of other purely mental processes, they must be defined according to the actions or demonstrations. आता ह्याच्यात सगळ्यात मोठी गंमत काय की तुम्ही ऍक्शन आणि डेमॉन्स्ट्रेशन कसं दाखवणार, तर त्याच्यासाठी सगळी ब्लूम्स टॅक्सॉनॉमी लिहिलेली आहे, आणि इन द सबसिक्वेंट स्लाइड्स विल लर्न दॅट. ओके, सो काहीतरी आपल्याला वर्ब, मी जसं म्हणाले काहीतरी वर्ब्स, ऍक्शन वर्ब्स आपल्याला शिकले पाहिजेत. आता एक छोटेसे काही ऍक्शन वर्ब्स आय हॅव शोन यू, डिस्क्राइब आहे, एक्सप्लेन आहे, डिझाईन आहे, प्रोसिजर आहे. नॉर्मली आपल्या पेपर्स मध्ये असेच शब्द असतात. आणि मग त्याच्यावरनं आपण असं, आता समजा मी आता हे आउटकम लिहिले, एक्सप्लेन द मेजर कॉजेस ऑफ इन्फ्लेशन इन कॅपिटलिस्ट इकॉनॉमीज. न याच्यामध्ये काय कळतं का, व्हॉट इट इम्प्लाइज? इट इम्प्लाइज दॅट टू बी सक्सेसफुल, म्हणजे फॉर लर्नर टू बी अ सक्सेसफुल, द लर्नर विल बी एक्सपेक्टेड टू डेव्हलप बोथ. काय बोथ? दोन कोणत्या गोष्टी? कॉम्पिटन्स ऑफ एक्सप्लेनिंग, म्हणजे मला एक्सप्लेन करता येतं, हा वन ऑफ द कॉम्पिटन्स आहे. आणि नॉलेज ऑफ द मेजर कॉजेस ऑफ इन्फ्लेशन इन कॅपिटलिस्ट इकॉनॉमीज, म्हणजे याचे कॉजेस काय मला समजलेत म्हणून मला एक्सप्लेन करता येतात. म्हणजे याच्यामध्ये नॉलेज पण आलं आणि कॉम्पिटन्सी पण आली. तर हे जे शब्द आहेत, जे आता मी तुम्हाला त्यावर फार फोकस करत नाही, पण डिस्क्राइब, एक्सप्लेन, डिझाईन, हे सगळे पहिल्यांदा आले पाहिजे. तुम्ही काय करणार आहे, तुमचा परफॉर्मन्स कसा दाखवणार आहे, तर इथे परफॉर्मन्स एक्सप्लेन शब्दाने दाखवलेला आहे. त्याच्यामुळे हा एक्सप्लेन काय झाला, माझा ऍक्शन वर्ब झाला. आणि नंतरचं लर्निंग स्टेटमेंट, काय लर्निंग झालंय, मला मेजर कॉजेस ऑफ इन्फ्लेशन कळलेत आणि म्हणून मी ते तुम्हाला एक्सप्लेन करू शकते. आय हॅव अक्वायर्ड द नॉलेज अँड आय एम कॉम्पिटंट इनफ टू एक्सप्लेन यू दॅट. That is what is called as the competence or the demonstration of a performance. Okay, पण नॉन डेमॉन्स्ट्रेशन प्रोसेसेस लाईक हिडन, हे असे शब्द वापरू नयेत, हे वेग आहेत, त्याच्यात काही अर्थ नाही. नो, अंडरस्टँड, बिलीव्ह, थिंक, मला असं वाटतं, याला काही अर्थ नाहीये. मला अंडरस्टँड झालंय, पण त्याच्यात मी काही, म्हणजे त्याची तुझे ऍक्शन नाही लक्षात येत. त्याच्यात मला कळलंय म्हणजे नो, आय नो. आता नो मध्ये तुम्ही इव्हॅल्युएट कसं करणार त्याला, किती कळलंय किती नाही, तर हे शब्द वापरायचे आपण टाळणार आहेत लर्निंग आउटकम्स मध्ये. ओके, अजून आपण डिटेल्स मध्ये हे सगळं पाहणार आहोत. आता you might have a doubt in your mind that learning outcome, how it is helping faculty as well as the student. There are two components. One is the faculty is benefited out of this learning outcomes, कारण त्याला माहिती आहे आता मला फोकस आहे, माझा टार्गेट काय, आता मुलांना एवढं आलं पाहिजे at the end of the course, that is my target. Okay, and therefore it describes what the students, what is expected of them. Okay, and accordingly then he can plan his टीचिंग स्ट्रॅटेजीज. ओके, हा इथे त्याच्या टीचिंग स्ट्रॅटेजीज त्याला प्लॅन करता येतात. देन लर्न फ्रॉम अँड मेक चेंजेस टू द करिक्युलम टू इम्प्रूव्ह द स्टुडंट लर्निंग. द करिक्युलम, यू आर ऑल of you are from autonomous institutes. Okay, so it is a major advantage to you that you can change your curriculum as per the needs of the society and industry, which is a major component in any educational organization. And I suppose that whatever the learning outcomes you would like to have for your students, you please set it, and accordingly you change the curriculum. That is what the University Grant Commission is telling you through the LOCF, isn't it? So this LOCF, which is recently launched by UGC, it is telling what learning outcome you set it in the beginning, and accordingly you frame your curriculum. And that is what the faculty is free to do that. That is a major advantage getting to an instructor. Okay. And finally, he is supposed to assess the outcomes of a single course aligned with larger outcomes of the entire program. Your program is having some targets. Commerce branch is having some targets. Your subject of finance is having some outcomes. So you are supposed to achieve program outcomes by virtue of educating the students in a finance course and achieving some outcomes of that finance course. So you are slightly contributing towards your program also. By teaching students finance course, you are actually contributing to get him degree in a BCom. So that is how the learner, instructor is getting help, benefited from this learning outcomes. How students are getting benefited? No, it is a scenario is very worst in the sense that स्टुडंटला मला वाटतं हा शब्द माहिती का नाही की कोर्स आउटकम, प्रोग्राम आउटकम. कोणीतरी इंडक्शन मध्ये सांगत असावं आणि नंतर आपण कोर्स होईपर्यंत त्याला कधी क्लासमध्ये हा शब्द वापरलाय का नाही तो वापरायला पाहिजे. फ्रिक्वेंटली यू आर सपोज टू स्टिम्युलेट द स्टुडंट्स विथ दिस वर्ड्स. मी तर आमच्या इंजिनिअरिंगच्या स्टुडंटला नेहमी सांगते, इव्हन मी अदरवाईज सांगते त्यांना की your hard earned money of your parents, you have paid lakhs of rupees fees, you have paid to us, and you have every right to ask us any doubts, or you have every right to ask us why this facility is not given to us, why this syllabus is not completed, because my parents have paid the entire fees. Basically, you know that this year is a world quality, I mean, what is the theme of the quality for the World Quality Day? The theme is the creating customer focus. And I hope and wish that you will agree with me that in educational scenario, we are calling students as our customers. Actually, parents are customers because they are paying. Students are actually consumers. But by and large, if we call them as a customer, they have every right to get the benefit of whatever the tuition fees they have paid. But unfortunately, in today's scenario, they are not sensitized to understand that. त्यांना कोणी शिकवलेलंच नाही की तुझे पैसे भरले, तू कस्टमर, तुला हे राईट्स आहेत मागायचे. त्याच्यामुळे अनफॉर्च्युनेटली दॅट सेन्सिटायझेशन आणि आपला जो ओरिजिनल इम्पॅक्ट आहे गुरुकुल पद्धतीचा तो आपल्या डोक्यावर आहे. त्याच्यामुळे कदाचित असं होत असेल, पण समहाऊ स्टुडंट्स असं म्हणत नाहीत. पण आता हे लर्निंग आउटकम्स जेव्हापासून आलेत तेव्हा अँटिसिपेट व्हॉट दे विल गेन फ्रॉम द एज्युकेशनल एक्सपिरियन्स, ट्रॅक देअर प्रोग्रेस अँड नो वेअर दे स्टँड. म्हणजे त्यांना समजायला पाहिजे की मला इतकं यायला पाहिजे होतं पण मला येत नाही. ही और शी इज सपोज टू इंट्रोस्पेक्ट हिमसेल्फ अँड हरसेल्फ थ्रू द मार्क्स, थ्रू द अटेनमेंट लेवल्स, अँड नो इन ऍडव्हान्स मला काय कळणार आहे. आता तुम्हाला माहित होतं संगीता जोशी मॅडम येणार आहेत काय शिकवणार आहेत, त्याच्यामुळे तुम्हाला इन ऍडव्हान्स माहिती आज आता जाताना कमीत कमी आपल्याला कोर्स आउटकम फ्रेम करता येतील, आपल्या सब्जेक्टचे प्रोग्राम आउटकम करता येतील, सीओपीओ मॅपिंग करता येईल. सो यू आर हॅपी, अँड बाय द एंड ऑफ द सेशन यू कॅन क्रॉस चेक whether you are able to do that or not, and that decides the success of my session, isn't it? So that is what is there. So let us now ask you the question. My chat box is available in other this thing. So how learning outcomes are different from the okay, course outcomes? Can anybody tell me? I think all must have been muted, so I don't know whether everybody is muted or they can write in the chat box. Always you see learning outcomes and the outcome and goals. Can you tell me how these are different? Anybody? I don't know, anything has come into the chat box.
Participants, please respond to the question.
Yes, they are responding.
Can we okay.
Yeah. You can respond. You can unmute yourself and respond.
Yes. Good afternoon, ma'am. I am Dr. Poonam Deshpande from Ferguson College. So
Yes.
earlier, the objective or the main focus, where the purpose of faculty was just creating some goals. That what is their objective of teaching this unit. So it was teacher centric more, whatever I said. And now the outcome is like whatever the teacher is teaching something, the students are going to get what from that. So now the outcomes are more towards student centric, and the objective are more toward the teaching centric from the teacher's point of view.
Very good, very nice answer. Thank you, madam. And exactly, she has very rightly told, which I have stated here. Whenever we say goal, the major difference is the goal and objectives. They are not teacher centric as such, but who will be performing those activities, that who is different. In case of objectives and goals, teachers are performing. Learning goals and objectives generally describe what an instructor or program or institution aims to do. What is my objective? What institutes are your instructors' course objectives? Whereas what is the learning? Learning is outcome describes in observable and visual what students will be able to do at the end of their program or completing the learning experience. So that is the difference between the outcome and the objective. So one has to keep that in mind. Many times now, many faculty get confused with the objectives, because in some cases, university has given objectives in the university syllabus, and many times they take that objective as an outcome. Objective is totally different from the outcome. Not totally. Objective is based on the syllabus, what you are going to teach them. What is my objective? Outcome is you are ensuring that at the end of this course, students will be able to learn so many things. So that is the major difference. Okay. So now in this slide also you will find that here I have what faculty members want students to know at the end of the course, and this "and" is very important. And what faculty members want students to be able to do. I am always, since my session beginning, I am telling you that to know and to be able to do. These are the very two important things for the learning outcomes, definition of a learning outcome. Okay. It basically describes what they are supposed to have as a knowledge and what they will be able to perform or able to do at the end of this course. Okay. Now let us go into the much more details. There are some characteristics of the learning outcomes. Maybe it is a POs, COs, or maybe end of this session, whatever it is. So those should be the SMART, what you can say, outcomes. SMART is even whenever we describe the performance indicators. So that time also we talk about the SMART indicators. So SMART means they should be specific. Specific means what? Vague terms is not expected, like know, understand. It has to be a proper action verb, which will be help you to evaluate the candidate for that outcome, or you will find the attainment of that outcome. Okay, attainment means whether they have achieved or not. You will have to design some assessment tool for getting it done, that attainment. So whenever you want that attainment has to happen for every course outcome, then it is your duty to define the course outcomes or the program outcomes in a proper way. And the one of the ways that that should be the very specific, observable, measurable. Observable, measurable means what? Demonstration dikhna chahiye wo, what he has written or what he has performed, what he has created. So that is called as the measurable. Measurable means you should have some rubrics or you should have the examination questions to measure his performance. Okay. That means you're giving the marks, so that decides the performance. And basically, it is to be done by the students, learners, not the faculties. Specify an action that is done by the student, that is not by the faculty members. Second is the measurable outcome. Measurable means, just I have told you that you should have some metric or you should have some some targets. Achievable means within your scope, it has to be achievable, feasible to implement. Otherwise, what would happen? Supposing somebody is 15 days का एक course किया है swimming pool में, swimming he has learned, आणि त्याला पोहायला सांगितलं, त्याचे आउटकम लिहिताना आपण सांगितलं की त्याला समुद्रात पोहायला पाठवणार आहे, तरी तो पोहेल, असं कसं शक्य आहे? तुम्ही त्याला 15 दिवसाचा स्विमिंगचा कोर्स करायला सांगता, तर त्याला तुम्हाला तलावात किंवा फार तर फार नदीत एवढंच म्हणता येईल, एकदम समुद्रात कसं जाता येईल. किंवा तुम्ही इंजिनिअरिंगच्या मुलाला, मेकॅनिकल इंजिनिअरिंगच्या मुलाला डायरेक्ट म्हणलं की एअरक्राफ्ट डिझाईन करता येईल, तर ते शक्यच नाहीये. म्हणजे दॅट इज नॉट अचिवेबल. सो इट हॅज टू बी अचिवेबल, फिजिबल टू इम्प्लिमेंट. रिलेव्हंट म्हणजे काय? समजा देर आर मेनी कोर्सेस विच आर अलाइन्ड, a very thin line demarcation is there between these two courses. In such a cases, the relevance of that course has to be maintained. म्हणजे आता कम्प्युटर नेटवर्क आहे आणि डेटाबेस मॅनेजमेंट आहे, थोडे जवळचे सब्जेक्ट समजा, तर त्यातला सीओ याच्यामध्ये चालणार नाही. इट हॅज टू बी रिलेव्हंट टू द प्रोग्राम इटसेल्फ, दॅट कोर्स इटसेल्फ. आणि समजा आयसी टेक्नॉलॉजी, इंटिग्रेटेड सर्किट टेक्नॉलॉजी, दॅट इज ऑल अबाउट द फॅब्रिकेशन. आणि VLSI, व्हेरी लार्ज स्केल इंटिग्रेशन डिझाईन आहे. So they merging of the COs from one subject to other subject is also not advisable, or it is not at all acceptable rather. And then the time bound म्हणजे specific timeline student has supposed to perform, otherwise that is not of any use. Okay, म्हणजे प्रोग्राम आउटकम हा प्रोग्राम संपला की त्याला तेवढ्या एबिलिटीज आणि स्किल्स डेव्हलप झाल्याच पाहिजेत. प्रोग्राम एज्युकेशनल ऑब्जेक्टिव्ह मध्ये आपण 4-5 वर्षानंतर आपण ते असेस करतो, खरंच मुलाला इंडस्ट्रीमध्ये तो स्मूथली वर्क करतोय का नाही. ओके, काय झालं समथिंग. ओके, सो and there is a some collection of action verbs I have told you. Okay, now this is again one more action verb list of action verbs. Actually this is really very disturbing me a lot. I don't know, I have removed that. Okay, can we hide this?
What is that?
Actually this I am unable to remove.
You can right click and then you can deselect.
Here anything is there to deselect?
When you right click, the option comes.
Right click on this strip,
this slide. That is just right. So you can pointer option, go to pointer option.
okay,
and then you can deselect.
No, that is what I am. No, laser I know.
Achha.
This strip I am talking, mute and stop video and security. That
Okay.
is also okay. Anyway,
You can just hide it. Escape, you can just, or hide it.
hide option is not seen.
Not
I am
seen,
just
okay.
trying to see that. Because I have used large size PPTs, that is troubling me. Anyway.
No, but it is quite visible. I mean, for
Okay.
from
Okay,
our
okay.
point of view.
Okay. So again some vocabulary is given for effective learning outcomes. And now supposing I write it like this, the student will understand basic human development theory. So that doesn't make any sense, because as I have told you, understand word is not to be used. So better what I can write, students will be able to identify and describe the major theories of human development. So here learning statement is also coming, as well as the action verbs identify and describe, both are also coming. So moving ahead, you might ask me that, madam, why don't you tell us some formula or something which we will use? But unfortunately, neither UGC nor AICT nor NBA, they don't give you any formula as such. But by learning experience, people have derived some formulae out of their experience. So supposing if I write a formula or maybe guideline or the tip or hints as a result of participating in educational unit, or maybe as a result of participating in this FDP, or as a result of or at the end of the graduation, these words would be common. Students will be able to. So measurable verb or action verb plus learning statement, that is the general philosophy. We are supposed to write it in this fashion. So few examples I'll give you. So examples of course learning outcomes using this formula. So you are participating in some, I'll not read out everything, but to evaluate. So now evaluate is the action verb. And what is the learning statement? Statistical claims in the popular place. Describe is the action verb. So I'll be able to describe students will be able to describe what is the learning, the potential impact of specific ethical conflicts on research findings. So that is how you can prepare the learning outcomes using this formula, a very simple formula. I am only giving you 2 hints. One is that you are supposed to write the action verb and you are supposed to write the learning statement. Okay. These are few more. Anyway, I'll give you this information, so I'll not go through. Now, can somebody tell me what is the learning outcome of this session? By the end of this session, participants will be able to
formulate learning outcomes, ma'am. Dr. Nupur Mehrotra from Mithibai College.
So what is your answer?
Formulate,
yeah.
Formulate learning outcomes for the session. I could use formulate learning outcome.
That is a slightly vague. Can somebody go to a more focused way? You can write in chat in another device. I have chat there. Formulate course outcomes.
Identify and create.
Create is a slightly different action verb. Creation requires application of knowledge. So articulate word will do, formulate word will do. We'll be able to articulate. Articulation of a statement. Na? Learning outcome is basically a statement. Okay.
Enlist.
Enlist. Sorry.
Enlist.
Enlist. Yeah, enlist also will do. Enlist also will do. Somebody has resigned DV from DV College, Mumbai. Decide the expected outcome and describe it in a measurable terms. So basically what you have done, sir, decide and describe. These are the 2 action verbs you are using. Okay. So decide means now decide, your decision making power is not measurable. So therefore that is not advisable to write the word decide. So describe is okay. Describe the COPO, PSO. Design the learning outcomes. Evaluate the outcome. Lolly Jain has written evaluate the outcomes of courses designed already. Evaluate the outcomes. Okay. Able to design the learning outcomes. So that is also fine because you will be able to design. Design word is slightly misfit, but that also will do. But formulate and articulate also is a proper word for formulating the course outcomes. Okay. So let us
analyze.
Finalize also will do. Finalize also will do. Yeah,
analyze.
Analyze.
The outcomes which have already prepared or like that.
Yeah, but maybe that statement is okay. But the question which is what is the learning outcome of this session? That already prepared outcomes you are able to analyze. That is also proper. Yeah, that will also do. Good. Good. So all of you are able to do articulate. Prachi has told articulate COs, POs for our courses. Good. Preeti is telling design and implement. So normally, Preeti, I'll tell you in the subsequent slides, I'll tell you, normally 2 action verbs are not supposed to be used clubbed in this fashion. You will get educated after next session. Shall we move ahead now? I think you are able to.
Yes.
Yeah, right, fine. Shubhangi is saying to decide, will be able to decide. Decide again, I am a slight objection on decide word. So we'll end this component of my session. The best teachers are those who show you where to look. It is from the vision point of view I have written, but don't tell you what to see. Where to look, and it is your job to look into the more and more details, analyze, grasp, apply that knowledge, do some creative work. So that is what the job of teacher is. Okay. So moving ahead. How learning happens through Bloom's taxonomy. तुमच्यापैकी बऱ्याच जणांनी हा शब्द ऐकला असेल, Bloom's taxonomy, Bloom's taxonomy. Even in engineering also, everybody is knowing this Bloom's taxonomy. असं काही नाहीये. प्रत्येकाला आमच्याकडे सगळ्यांना येत असेल अशातला भाग नाहीये. थोडासा unless you practice or unless you go through, आणि जेव्हा आपल्याला गरज असते तेव्हाच आपण त्याच्यामध्ये जातो. So let us understand this. So learning through Bloom's taxonomy. आता Bloom's म्हणजे काय? हा एक psychologist होता. By the way, there may be few psychologists in the audience, and probably they might be knowing how much is the attention seeking time of a participant in a 3-hour session. So kindly excuse me for that. And therefore I have put some quizzes and activities in order to make it more effectively engaged. Okay. So as per the psychologist and educationalist, so that time Bloom, Dave and Simpson, they worked in a committee. The committee was chaired by Bloom. It was in 1956. Okay. And in their opinion, learning takes place through 3 domains. So what are these 3 domains? One is the cognitive, second is affective, and third is the psychomotor. Now what is cognitive? This picture is the cognitive domain. That is the intellect. That is the knowledge. Okay. So how it corresponds to basically the mental abilities of a person. So what do you want your graduates to know and think? म्हणजे आता आपल्याला कसं वापरायचा हा cognitive domain is very, very important for all of us, because whenever you will write or whenever you will take the program outcomes from university or UGC or maybe AICT, so that time you will find that the first 4 POs, PO1, PO2, PO3 and PO4, they are based on the cognitive knowledge. Okay. So that is all related to the knowledge, abilities to grasp the knowledge, apply the knowledge, design accordingly, develop accordingly. So that is called as the cognitive domain. Okay. Creative mind, critical thinking, all these are the cognitive domains. Affective मध्ये काय येतं? Affective is shown by this just a minute. So it is affective domain. Affective म्हणजे काय की इमोशनल एरियाज अँड ग्रोथ इन द फिलिंग्स, म्हणून हा थोडासा हार्ट शेप दाखवलेला आहे इथे. What do you want your graduate to care about? Now whenever you are doing either engineering or any higher education degree, so that time what is important is the care that the student will be taking towards the society whenever they are using their professional practices in the society, or some ethical conduct whenever they are doing. So that is the feelings towards, and feeling is what even the response given by the students in the class, reactions given by the student, whether they are active learners or the passive learners, that is all obtained through the affective learning. हे सगळं affective learning मध्ये कळतं आपल्या affective domain मध्ये. What is the psychomotor? Psychomotor, it encompasses physical or manual skills which require practice. म्हणजे इथे हात दाखवलाय. Hands-on experience, what we do, what we say. What do you want your graduates to be able to do? The knowledge is gained, acquired. But how can I apply that knowledge to show, demonstrate some skills? So that is the psychomotor. Psychomotor म्हणजे लहानपणी मुलांना पण शाळेमध्ये सांगतात त्याच्या मोटर फिंगर स्किल्स नाहीयेत बरोबर, त्याची बोटांची हालचाल नाहीये बरोबर. So that is the psychomotor skills. It is all related to the skills. This is related to the knowledge, and this is related to the attitude, feelings. Okay. Now, basically, आपण हे सगळं 1956 ब्लूम्सच्या नावावर म्हणतो, but basically, do you think, can anybody tell me that in our Bhagavad Gita, do we have all these domains mentioned in our Bhagavad Gita?
Yes.
Yes. And here is that in the next slide. So Bhagavad Gita, analogy of Bloom's taxonomy with the Bhagavad Gita. Whenever we say it is a cognitive domain, that is nothing but an intellect, that is the Jnana Yoga. जेव्हा आपण देवापुढे समर्पण करतो, भक्ती योग, भक्ती करतो देवाची, समर्पित होतो with our all feelings and emotions, that is the भक्ती योग. And आपण म्हणतो आपल्या आपल्या कर्माने करावं, कर्म करत राहावं फळाची अपेक्षा न करता. So that is the कर्म योग. So psychomotor. So all these 3 terminologies are already present there in the Bhagavad Gita, and we are now learning that as a Bloom's taxonomy. So whatever I have told you just now about the Bloom's taxonomy is written here. So categories are these 3: affective, cognitive, and psychomotor. In the affective, there are some levels. Again, branching of affective, branching of cognitive, and branching of psychomotor. I'll show you all the branchings, but we'll only focus on the affective to formulate the action verbs. So basically, in 1956, earlier in the Bloom's actually have launched this levels. Taxonomy म्हणजे काय? Taxonomy is a classification, categories, okay, grouping of things, arranging ideas. That is called as the taxonomy. त्याला link ला click करना. What is in the, they have revised in 2001, and what difference they have done actually in the 2001, this evaluation which was the top in the 1956 is taken as a evaluate in the 5th level. That level is changed, and synthesis level is taken as a create. So from noun to verb, that is the transition from 1956 to 2001. So henceforth I will always follow this revised Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, आता या प्रत्येकाचे आपण अर्थ लावू. This is called as the first level. Now can you think, remember, understand and apply? हे कसे, याला काय म्हणायचं? Lower order thinking. Lots, that is the lower order thinking levels. Higher order thinking levels are the analysis, apply, evaluate and create. Now you can see this. Remembering, understanding, apply. This is going in this direction, up. That means more you go up, the more complexity in the problem would be involved. Remembering, understanding हे सोपं आहे थोडं, applying पण सोपं आहे, पण जसं analyze करता, then evaluate करता, then create करता, then it becomes more and more difficult. So higher order thinking goes higher and higher as you move towards the top. Now let us understand the meaning of each and everything. Remember is what? Remember is just recall the facts, recalling the concepts. I have done the lecture, but whether I am able to recollect the things in the lecture or not. संगीता जोशी मॅडमचं झाल्यावर लेक्चर कोणीतरी विचारलं काय शिकवलं आज, मग ते आठवलं पाहिजे ना. लर्निंग आउटकम शिकवलेत, कोर्स आउटकम शिकवलेत. सो दॅट इज कॉल्ड एज अ रिकॉल. इव्हन द छोटी मुलं आहेत, छोटी मुलं आहेत तर ती छोटी मुलं पण ते 2 1 2 2 2 4 2 3 6 म्हणतात, ते त्याकडे पाठ केलेलं असतं त्यांना कधी विचारा ते सांगता येतं. दॅट इज कॉल्ड एज अ रिकॉलिंग. म्हणजे इट इज जस्ट द इन्फॉर्मेशन दे आर रिकॉलिंग. अँड अंडरस्टँड मध्ये काय, रिकॉल तर झालंच पाहिजे, म्हणजे खालची लेवल तर आलीच पाहिजे, पण त्यांना ते समजावून पण अंडरस्टँड पण करता झालं पाहिजे, समजलंय त्यांना, ते सांगता पण आलं पाहिजे. अंडरस्टँडिंग द फॅक्ट्स अँड कन्सेप्ट, दॅट इज कॉल्ड एज द अंडरस्टँड. अप्लाय म्हणजे काय, यू आर अप्लाइंग वन्स यू अंडरस्टूड. आता तुम्हाला एकदा कळलं ह्याची प्रिन्सिपल हे, वर्किंग प्रिन्सिपल हे आहे, मग ते तुम्ही कुठे पण अप्लाय करू शकता. एखादा तुमचा थेरम आहे, एखादा तुमचा नॉर्म आहे, एखादा रूल आहे. Once you know that, then you can apply it as and when required to the suitable places. That is called as the apply. Analyze is what? You take a simple case of data analysis. In NAAC मध्ये आपल्याला पुष्कळ डेटा घ्यायला लागतो. That is to be analyzed. So actually you are analyzing the data for the making some inferences, drawing some inferences. काहीतरी conclusion काढायचं मला. या डेटावरनं मुलांचा स्टुडंट सॅटिस्फॅक्शन सर्वेचा फीडबॅक आहे, त्याच्यावरनं मी conclusion काहीतरी काढ. That is called as the analyze. Breaking down the information into components and parts. एखादं इन्फॉर्मेशन आहे, मग त्याला अनालाइज करायची. मोठी इन्फॉर्मेशन, जसं आपण विजनला अनालिसिस केलं, मग मिशन केलं, तसं ते ब्रेकिंग डाऊन इनटू द पार्ट्स अँड देन ड्रॉइंग द इन्फरन्सेस अँड ऍक्टिंग अपॉन दॅट. इव्हॅल्युएट इज व्हॉट? यू आर जजिंग, यू आर ऍक्च्युअली असेसिंग, म्हणजे आपण त्याची परीक्षा घेतो, एक्झामिनिंग. सो जजिंग द व्हॅल्यूज ऑफ इन्फॉर्मेशन, दॅट इज कॉल्ड एज द इव्हॅल्युएट. अँड फायनली द क्रिएट, म्हणजे एव्हरीथिंग यू हॅव डन. बट ऑफकोर्स वेनेवर यू इव्हॅल्युएट, वेनेवर यू अनालाइज, खालचे सगळे लेवल्स तुम्हाला आलेच पाहिजे, तरच तुम्हाला अनालाइज करता येईल. मला आठवतच नाही कन्सेप्ट, तर मी काय अप्लाय करणार ती कन्सेप्ट? आठवलं पाहिजे, समजलं पाहिजे, अप्लाय करता आलं पाहिजे, अनालिसिस करता आलं पाहिजे, इव्हॅल्युएट करता आलं पाहिजे. अँड फायनली यू आर क्रिएटिंग द prototypes, you are creating some models, you are creating some mini projects, some designs, some developments you are creating. That is called as the create. So these are the cognitive domains. Okay, one more slide I have prepared just to let you understand these words. This is the LOTS, means lower order thinking levels. So आपल्याला कसं असतं, आपल्या परीक्षेमध्ये युनिव्हर्सिटीच्या व्हॉट आणि याच्या पुढे जातच नाही आपण, डिस्कस, डिस्क्राइब याच्या पलीकडे. म्हणजे रिमेंबर, अंडरस्टँड, अप्लाय हे नॉर्मली आपण आपल्या एक्झामिनेशन मध्ये, एंड सेम एक्झाम, मिड सेम मध्ये वी कव्हर दिस थिंग्स. अँड हायर ऑर्डर थिंकिंग, ऍक्च्युअली एव्हरी टीचर शुड ट्राय टू इनकॉर्पोरेट फ्यू हायर ऑर्डर थिंकिंग स्किल्स. दिस इज द HOT, म्हणजे काय, हायर ऑर्डर थिंकिंग. ओके, so HOTs are supposed to be incorporated, but it is very difficult to incorporate that through the exams. कारण काय, क्रिएट मी काय कर म्हणलं, त्याला परीक्षाच असते 2 तासाची, त्याला क्रिएट करायला, क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग, विचार करायला लागेल, असे लॉंग प्रॉब्लेम्स देता येत नाहीत. त्याच्यामुळे ह्याच्यासाठी आपल्याला वेगळ्या ऍक्टिव्हिटीज घ्यायला लागतात टू इव्हॅल्युएट द स्टुडंट्स वेदर दे आर क्रिएटिव्हिटी इज देअर ऑर नॉट. ओके, And if you look at this ekdam ulta pyramid, so this is the learning pyramid. कसं learning होतं बघा. Remember, understand, apply याचं learning साठी you have to attend the lectures. So through lectures, through reading you can understand, audio visual, then demonstrations, then discussions in the group. You know better way in discussing the groups. म्हणजे एखादी कन्सेप्ट आहे तुम्ही डिस्कस केली सगळ्यांबरोबर की तुम्हाला समजतं. तुम्ही मुलांचे डिस्कशन्स ग्रुप घ्या म्हणजे मग तुमची ही कन्सेप्ट मुलांची क्लिअर होते. Practice by doing. Definitely, that is very true. Everybody knows this. Rather than simply telling them the theory part, practical has to be done. Then only the concepts would be cleared. And teach others. This is the best way to learn the things. You know, even in the teaching fraternity, whenever we teach students or many in the FDPs also, while teaching you click some things and then you understand. असं असतं का ते बरेचदा ब्लॅकबोर्ड वर लिहिता लिहिता आपल्या लक्षात येते की अरे ही कन्सेप्ट अशी आहे का, मला त्यावेळेस लक्षात नाही आलं पण आता शिकवताना लक्षात येते. ओके, so that is the learning pyramid. So the more you grow up, the more your learning would happen better. So if you adopt all these tactics, then definitely your students will be able to understand, learn, and evaluate and analyze the things in a better way. I will not dedicate much time on the affective and psychomotor. Rather, we'll spend more time on COPO mappings. So emotions, attitudes, and values. And one thing I forgot to tell you here, actually, this PO1 to PO4, that is the cognitive domain in program outcomes. I'll tell you later. Just you remember this word, PO1 to PO4. And so here, this is actually concerned with the emotional things, emotional components. Okay, so receiving the information, whether म्हणजे मुलगा क्लासमध्ये बसलाय, सगळ्यात दुर्दैव असं आहे की त्या ऑनलाईन मध्ये तर अजूनच हा फॅक्टर वीक झालेला आहे. मुलं तिकडं स्क्रीनच्या पलीकडे आहेत का नाही, स्क्रीनला वेड्यासारखं 2 तास 3 तास बोलायचं आणि तो ऍक्टिव्ह लर्नर नाहीये हे आपल्याला कळतंय. बट ना, टेक्नॉलॉजी हॅज गॉन मच अहेड. आय डोंट नो वेदर यू नो और नॉट, बट देर इज वन युटिलिटी इन MS Team, इनसाइट्स म्हणून एक युटिलिटी आहे. ती इनसाइट युटिलिटी वापरली ना की कोण किती ऍक्टिव्ह होतं, म्हणजे किती वेळा हात रेस केला, किती वेळा बोलला, किती वेळा त्यानं माईक ऑन केला, त्याचे सगळे रेकॉर्ड, स्टॅटिस्टिकल रेकॉर्ड आहेत ना, आपल्याला ते प्रायोरिटीने काढता येतं किती मुलं ऍक्टिव्ह लर्नर्स आहेत. हॅलो, रिसिव्हिंग, रिस्पॉन्डिंग, म्हणजे ते रिसिव्हच नाही झालं तर रिस्पॉन्ड करणारच नाहीत. बरेचदा आपण म्हणतो व्हिडिओ ऑन करा, चॅट मध्ये बोला, तो तिकडे आहे का, मास्तर बिचारा ओरडत राहतो, तिकडून काही आवाज येत नाही. तर पॅसिव्ह लर्नर्स असतात ते. व्हॅल्युइंग, माय चाइल्ड इज लाफिंग हिअर. ऑर्गनायझेशन, and then the characterization by a value set. I'll give more details on this. So this I'll skip. So willingness to hear is the receiving the information. So हा कोणता है? भक्ती योग है. Okay, the more you समर्पण करा teachers समोर, the more you will learn more. So willingness to hear, willingness to respond, that is the active learning. Then the value attached by a person to a particular object. किती value it is ranging from acceptance to commitment. म्हणजे किती स्टुडंट्स असे आहेत की ते खरंच तुमचं शिकवलेलं ऐकतात, हे करतात, तुमच्या असाइनमेंटला कमिटमेंट लेवल असते त्यांची. हा सगळा फील फॅक्टर आहे. असाइनमेंट आज सबमिट करायची का नाही रे, काही होत नाही, म्हणजे तो ऍटिट्यूड पार्ट जो आहे ना, फील फॅक्टर, तो तिथे सगळा इथे रिफ्लेक्ट होतो. And this is the psychomotor. Psychomotor मध्ये basically one has to know, first be aware of the knowledge, then you should know how it is to be done, knows what, knows how, म्हणजे कसं करायचं, how it is to be done, then I can show you how it is to be shown, then I can do it, so does, and then you get the mastery. So these are the levels from the awareness towards the mastery into any skill adaptation. Whenever you adopt any skills or whenever you would like to have some skill set, you should be master in some skill set. So that time these psychomotor domain skills will help you. Okay, and that is Dave is the psychologist who in 1970 introduced this, and basically it emphasizes on all the skill sets, physical and basically it is a coordination between the brain and the muscular activity. So knowledge has to have for skill to happen, otherwise knowledge is not the skill ka yenar nahi. Okay, and normally we implement this in the laboratory, case studies, group discussions, practice sessions, and through the co-curricular, extracurricular activities. Okay, And this is again the similar things I have written here. So let us skip this part. So these are the overall summary of, it's not actually the action verbs, it's the domain, subdomains of this domain, all cognitive, affective, and psychomotor. Okay. And these are the very few action verbs I have listed for the, now let us only concentrate about the cognitive domain. Now in the cognitive domain, there are 6 levels. Everybody has to remember there are 6 levels. I have written this in the reverse order. Reverse. So remembering, so creating. Which are the words which are coming under this level? So that is the compose. Chat box. So first is the creating, is the compose, construct, create, design, develop, integrate, event, invent. So these are all the vocabularies. They vanish. Then there are some words in the evaluate. Evaluation म्हणजे काय? Assess म्हणजे choose, critique, decide. Decide म्हणजे decision making. Okay. So determine, defend, estimate, judge, justify. Analyzing मध्ये काय येतं? Analyze करतो आपण. Analyze म्हणजे divide करतो actually. So divide पण word येतो त्याच्यामध्ये. कारण you are dividing into components. Categorize, compare, contrast. And these are apply. आणि खाली जे आहेत सगळे ते understand आणि remember चे. So distinguish, normally आपल्या एक्झामचा पेपर या 2 ह्याच्यातच असतो, रिमेंबर आणि अंडरस्टँड मध्ये. चॅट मध्ये काढून ठेवते. So that is the very small pool of words I have given you here, and let us now go through a very quickly go through quickly go through this quiz. All of you probably might be aware of this quiz. There are only 2 questions I have written here. So menti.com, all of you please go to the menti.com and you put this code there. You please take a image of this code, or else you can go directly to this website, this link. I can copy this link in the chat box. Well, if you have noted this, I'll have to stop sharing if I want to go to the chat box. So I'll not prefer to go to the chat box. So all of you please go to this site, menti.com, 11627990, and you will get a question like this. This is the question, and you please submit your answer. Are you with me? All of you are with me? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, can
Please answer this question.
Yeah, please share it again, ma'am.
Yeah, can
The
you see
website.
this? Menti, MENTI.
Menti.com.
Menti.com.
Yes, yes.
So here you can see. Can you see my screen now? So these are the answers coming out of that. So 11627990.
Can you share the number again, which we need to?
Yeah,
put
that
in
is there. 1162
7990.
7990. I'll take a break of minute. You please answer this question. हे करून ठेव. So good. There are wide answers. चॅट थोडा मोठा कर नाही इथला. मला चॅटच पाहिजे, तिकडे चॅट साठीच लावलाय मी कॉम्प्युटर. So okay. So what is the correct answer? Okay. So let me present you the second question. Let us see whether second questions yes. Yeah, this answer is also given. Okay. Well, so I'll go back to the presentation and let us discuss which answer is correct. Yeah, somebody asked me, is this site can be used freely by anyone? Yes, to some extent you can use this freely. I mean, but if your questions are increasing, then you have to pay for that. I have a free account here. So the first question was this one. And I know this is slightly confusing question itself, but still it is for the objectives. Objective and goal, there is a slight difference, but in the Bloom's taxonomy literature, the correct answer is the objectives. Okay. And many of you have written goals and skills because actually it is all domains are covered. That is how you must have written. And this was the second question. Bloom's wanted to promote. So actually they wanted to promote the higher order thinking levels. So this is the answer, higher forms of thinking. That is the answer. Okay. Corporate learning is definitely not. It is not for planning. It is all outcome based thinking levels. This first level, second level, third level. These are the levels for knowledge, intellect. So that is not for planning. So the correct answer is this higher forms of thinking. Okay. Up to 5 questions, Mentimeter is free. That is true. Can you quickly write in the chat box the answer of this? Which action verb is not measurable? Just write the answer in the chat box. I'll just check your chat box. No, state can be measurable. State the definition, state. Yeah. Mixed answers, but majority of the answers become aware of is the correct answer. That is not measurable. Become aware of means how मला समजले पण मी aware of म्हणजे माहिती तर ते. So next question is this everybody should answer. Everybody please answer correctly. I'll just write here 1, 2, 3 and you write only 1, 2, 3. I'll just give the numbers here rather than this because then it is very easy for you to type. So yeah, this is 1, this is 2 and this is 3. The answer is yes, very good. All of you got the correct answer. The answer is 2. This is the correct answer. It is the cognitive, affective and psychomotor. Very good. Now look at this. Again, I'll just give the numbers 1, 2 and 3. Which category does it belong to? This child is asking, how many words can I memorize? Yes, it is related to knowledge. Memorize. Memorize means cognitive domain, knowledge. Okay. And let us end this session, I mean this component of this session, with a quote that mediocre teachers tells, the good teacher explains, the superior teacher demonstrates, and the great teacher inspires. So this ability and skill every teacher one has to have. Now let us move to now from this the important topic comes, that is how to frame course outcomes using action verbs of Bloom's taxonomy. Okay, good. So again, that difference between the objective and outcome is there. So all of you know now by this time what is the difference. So I'll not repeat there. Students' point of view, students must be able to do is the outcome, and what teachers are expected to teach as an objective of this course. Okay, what they are going to cover in this course, that is the objective. Okay, and basically whether you are writing course outcome or the program outcome, what is important is that this relates to the skills, knowledge, and behavior. Henceforth, these three words are very, very important. Skills, knowledge, and behavior. Okay, KSA, attitude पण म्हणतो कधी कधी, when sometimes we call it as attitude. KSA, knowledge, skills, and attitude. Okay. So again, I am repeating, in the course outcomes, at the end of the subject is completed. Course म्हणजे subject. जेव्हा तुमचा विषय संपतो शिकवण्याचा, त्यावेळेस expected to know and will be able to do. हे दोन ending आहे. Students are expected to know and will be able to, will be able to achieve, able to do. Okay. So let us move into the details of the course outcomes now. So basically now, this academic policy pyramid is defined in the literature, and this pyramid is like this. You can see here. In this pyramid, you can find so in this pyramid, you can find that these are the course outcomes. I'll move this strip. This strip is not disturbing you, but it is disturbing me actually. So these are the course outcomes. My arrow is here. These are the course outcomes. You can see this, but I cannot. And then the program outcomes. So basically what these course outcomes are, these are called as the bricks of the academic policy pyramid. Meaning that first you are supposed to define the course outcomes. Then you are actually doing the course attainment first, which is contributing to the program outcome attainment. From the attainment point of view, these are the building blocks. Then you are doing the PEOs, and then you are doing the vision, mission, and the objectives of the institute. And as I have told you, it has to be the smart. These course outcomes are supposed to be the smart, and they are supposed to cover these KSA attributes of graduate attributes. Graduate attribute म्हणजे काय? जेव्हा NBA नी नॅशनल बोर्ड ऑफ एक्रेडिटेशन जेव्हा वॉशिंग्टन अकॉर्डशी त्यांनी टायअप केला, तो वॉशिंग्टन अकॉर्ड जो आहे, त्या वॉशिंग्टन अकॉर्ड मध्ये एव्हरी ग्रॅज्युएट व्हेनेवर दे आर कम्प्लिटिंग देअर डिग्री ऑफ ग्रॅज्युएशन, सो दॅट टाइम व्हॉट ॲट्रिब्यूट्स म्हणजे कॅरेक्टरिस्टिक्स म्हणजे फीचर्स, what a graduate should have as an attribute, those attributes they have defined. These are the 12 attributes are there, which are actually issued by the Washington Accord, and that is called as the GAs, graduate attributes. Okay, so these are basically based on the KSAs. Okay, now I'm finding a lot of problem in even entering the.
Madam, you can click on chat once more and then the strip will go away.
Sorry?
Click on chat once more and the strip will go away.
Is it? Okay. Let me check. For this chat is not seen. Only more option is there. Whenever I'm sharing the screen, chat is not available. So that chat option also is not seen. Actually, that is not troubling you, but it is troubling me because I have two laptops in front of me. The one which is not presenting is not having any problem. Anyway, I'll go ahead. Remember, understand, and application. So I'll not go through each and every word, but these are the pool of words, action verbs, which are coming under this. And definitely we are supposed to make use of this pool of action verbs. Okay. And you can see now for remembering means you can list, you can remember. So that is list word is there. Then you can recite, you can identify, you can arrange, labeling, you can remember. So names you can remember, recall, reproduce. So read, state, all these comes under the remember. Understanding is slightly higher level, one step ahead, and that is the review, illustrate, rewrite, associate, select, extend. So these words are there. once you understand, once you acquire that knowledge, then you can apply the knowledge, application of a knowledge. So change, perform, manipulate, produce, modify, compute, sketch, articulate, present. So these are the words coming under here. Okay. I am also finding it difficult. Enter also. Okay. Analysis, evaluate, and create. Okay. Differentiate. Analysis means we are actually dividing and breaking the information. So that is the divide. Divide word is there. Contrast is there. Connect is there. Differentiate is there. Okay. Then conclude is there. Then relate is there. Okay. Discriminate, because you have divided into the different components. So you can discriminate, take apart, calculate, simplify. Calculate sometimes you will find in the evaluate also. Okay. You may find some words are in both the pools, but appropriate context you will have to choose. Adapt. Evaluate madhe kai? Evaluate madhe you are basically doing the assessment. So revise, support, assess, argue, judge. The argue word is there in the evaluate. You were surprised that time whether it is measurable or not. So that is there in the evaluate. So plan, sort, grade, explain, criticize. Then the create. Come up with, build, develop, design, idea. हे सगळ्यात highest level आहे. Critical thinking. मग त्याच्यातले हे words आहेत. Compose आहे, assemble आहे, derive आहे, conceive आहे, create आहे, pivot आहे, modify, collaborate. And I have also given you one more list. So this list also is describing the same kind of words. So by this time we know that in the cognitive domain of the Bloom's taxonomy, all these levels of Bloom's taxonomy, 6 levels of Bloom's taxonomy, each level is having a pool of action verbs which we are supposed to use while articulating or formulating the course outcomes. Okay. So while formulating the course outcomes, let us ask some questions, and then your thought process will be more evolved. For example, what knowledge, skills, abilities the students undergoing your course should demonstrate? You first ask to yourself, what kind of knowledge, what skills, what abilities you are expecting from this course for the students to gain. So they should demonstrate it. Then how will they be able to demonstrate these capacities? How manje kai ki what are the ways and means you will be able to design or define by virtue of the assessment tools? How manje kai ki te तुम्ही demonstrate केलं तुम्हाला assess पण करता आलं पाहिजे. How will they demonstrate? म्हणजे तुम्हाला त्याच्यासाठी काहीतरी experiment करून दाखवायला लागेल, तेव्हा तो experiment स्वतः करेल. Then how well our course prepares to take the students to expected cognitive, affective and psychomotor levels, and what type of assessments can be used to demonstrate the attainment. हा फार महत्त्वाचा कंपोनेंट आहे की जेव्हा तुम्ही एखादा ऍक्शन वर्ब इथे वापरता या स्किल्स येण्यासाठी, तेव्हा तुम्हाला त्याच्या रिलेव्हंट असेसमेंट पण करायला लागणार आहे. So what type of assessments can be used? What tool you will be using to demonstrate the attainment? Attainment म्हणजे काय? अचीव करण्यासाठी. तर टार्गेट आहे. ऍक्शन वर्ब मध्ये काहीतरी तुम्ही टार्गेट दिलं ते अचीव करण्यासाठी तुम्हाला काय कुठला असेसमेंट टूल करायला लागेल. So few more hints on the course outcomes. Now, whenever course outcomes is told to any teacher, first thing that comes to his mind is that let us just take the syllabus in front of us and do it. Mind you, it is a very, very scientific approach one is supposed to follow, as well as it is a very rigorously one is supposed to study the syllabus. I mean, तो त्याचा सब्जेक्ट पाहिजे. मी कॉम्प्युटरचे करून देते म्हटलं तर चालणार नाहीये. मलाच माझ्या सब्जेक्टचे करता येतील. माझी जी डेप्थ and breadth of the knowledge आहे, that I can utilize in my subject only. I cannot go behind that. माझ्या मैत्रिणीचे करून देईल, याचे करून देईल, 10 लोकांचे मी कोर्सचे करून देईल असं नाहीये. त्याला तुम्हाला तेवढी डेप्थ लागते, कारण it is not only the syllabus that you are looking into, what else is required. Your teaching learning process is also very important. Why? Because and you might ask me that why syllabus, TLP and assessment, everything is required. Everything is required.
Please unmute. Please mute yourself, sir. You are disturbing.
Everything is required because whenever you are doing the attainment of the course outcomes, so that time they will not be attained if you are not considering either TLP or syllabus or the assessment tools. So it is a myth that only syllabus is to be used, and the major damage to the course outcomes attainment would be there if you are only using the syllabus. मैंने क्या किया, unit 1, unit 2, unit 3, supposing there are 6 modules, I have 6 outcomes. एक जनरल टेंडन्सी आहे अशी, एक नॅचरल ह्युमन टेंडन्सी, टीचर्सची मेंटॅलिटी अशी आहे की 6 माझ्या युनिटेत मी 6 कोर्स आउटकम केले. पण होतं काय, तुमच्या एक्झाम मध्ये तुम्ही जेव्हा ऑप्शन देता आणि तेव्हा प्रत्येक आउटकम वर काही 6 प्रश्न विचारलेत, समजा 2 प्रश्न मुलांनी अटेंडच नाही केले, अटेम्प्टच नाही केले, तर ते प्रश्नांचं अटेनमेंटच होणार नाही, त्या कोर्स आउटकमची अटेनमेंट तुम्हाला 0 दिसेल. सो इन ऑर्डर टू अवॉइड दिस, इट इज ऑलवेज अप्रोप्रिएट टू कन्सिडर ऑल द, म्हणजे 100% अटेनमेंट करण्याकरता TLP वर पण भर दिला पाहिजे. व्हाय TLP? बिकॉज देर आर सम कोर्स आउटकम्स or there are some program outcomes for that matter, graduate attribute, माझ्या डिसिप्लिनचे काही डिमांड्स आहेत, त्याचे काही ऍट्रिब्यूट्स आहेत, त्या ऍट्रिब्यूट्स माझ्या कोर्सच्या सगळ्या सिलेबस मधून नाही सिद्ध होत, तेव्हा मला काही को करिक्युलर ऍक्टिव्हिटीज करायला लागतात, काही माझ्या इनोव्हेटिव्ह टीचिंग स्टाईल्स आहेत, त्याच्यावरनं मला ऍक्टिव्ह लर्नर्स कळतात. सो फॉर दॅट मॅटर आय नीड टू हॅव अ TLP ऑल्सो इन टू कन्सिडरेशन. अँड असेसमेंट टूल्स, ऍज आय हॅव टोल्ड यू, आपल्याकडे 2 पद्धती आहेत, कंटिन्युअस इंटरनल इव्हॅल्युएशन आहे, त्याच्यामध्ये IATS असते, असाइनमेंट असते, आणि एक आपली एंडसेम असते. तर एंडसेमचं अफिलिएटेड इन्स्टिट्यूट्स मध्ये आपल्या हातात एंडसेमचं काहीच नसतं, पण एंडसेमचं तुम्ही ऑटोनॉमस असल्यामुळे तुमच्याकडे सगळंच तुमच्या हातात आहे. तर व्हेनेवर, इथे पण बरेच लोक इंजिनिअरिंग कॉलेजेसमध्ये रिव्हर्स इंजिनिअरिंग करतात. असेसमेंट टूल मधनं, म्हणजे पेपर मी काय सेट करणार आहे, त्याच्यावर माझे काय कोर्स आउटकम्स आहेत, त्याच्यावर आम्ही मॅपिंग करू शकतो. मी पुढे सांगणार आहे तुम्हाला ते पण. तर ह्या तिन्ही गोष्टी फार महत्वाच्या आहेत, की सिलेबस, TLP आणि असेसमेंट टूल्स. नाउ एक अजून एक मी सांगते की देर इज नो स्पेसिफिक गाइडलाइन फॉर दिस, हाऊ टू फॉर्म्युलेट द कोर्स आउटकम्स, पण थ्रू लर्निंग एक्सपिरियन्स किंवा काही लिटरेचर जे अवेलेबल आहे ते वाचून त्याच्या 3 गोष्टी महत्वाच्या आहेत. एक तर परफॉर्मन्स रिफ्लेक्ट झाला पाहिजे, सेकंड द कंडिशन, आणि थर्ड द क्रायटेरियन. आता कंडिशन आणि क्रायटेरियन मध्ये थोडं थिन लाईन डिमार्केशन आहे, कधी कधी कन्फ्युजन होतं, पण ते उलट सुलट झालं तरी चालतं, हरकत नाही. तर परफॉर्मन्स म्हणजे काय, जो काही ऍक्शन वर्ब, व्हॉट एव्हर द ऍक्शन वर्ब दॅट यू आर युझिंग, मी जे तुम्हाला पूल्स दिले आता सांगितले, त्याच्यातून तुम्ही जो काही ऍक्शन वर्ब घेताय, दॅट शुड बी एबल टू आयडेंटिफाय द परफॉर्मन्स टू बी डेमॉन्स्ट्रेटेड. म्हणजे स्टुडंटचा कोणता परफॉर्मन्स तुम्ही डेमॉन्स्ट्रेट करताय त्या ऍक्शन वर्ब मधनं, सो दॅट परफॉर्मन्स हॅज टू बी डेमॉन्स्ट्रेटेड, म्हणजे कोणता ऍक्शन वर्ब वापरताय, थोडक्यात इथे ऍक्शन वर्ब आला पाहिजे. वर्क फोकसेस ऑन व्हॉट यू असेस अँड इनडायरेक्टली द असेसमेंट टूल, त्याच्यावरनं तुम्हाला टूल पण कळतो, आणि म्हणजे परीक्षेत रिटन एक्झाम मधला पेपर प्रश्न आहे का, प्रोजेक्टचा आहे का, स्किल्सचा आहे, ते पण कळतं. आणि दुसरं जे आहे लर्निंग स्टेटमेंट, दॅट स्पेसिफाईज व्हॉट लर्निंग विल बी डेमॉन्स्ट्रेटेड इन द परफॉर्मन्स. हे मागे मी तुम्हाला सांगितलं लर्निंग आउटकमच्या वेळेस, ही तुम्हाला मी हिंट दिली होती की लर्निंग स्टेटमेंट, पण आता मी थोडं पुढे जाऊन त्याची फोड अशी करते की क्रायटेरिया आणि कंडिशन या दोन्ही आपण त्याच्यामध्ये घालू. क्रायटेरिया म्हणजे काय, की एखादा आउटकम मी अचीव्ह करताना माझ्या ऍक्सेप्टेबल परफॉर्मन्स पाहिजे मला. अरे परफॉर्म केलं, पण माझ्या विदिन त्या फ्रेमवर्क मध्ये झालंय का नाही, विदिन माझ्या एक्सपेक्टेशन मध्ये झालं का नाही, विदिन दॅट बाउंड्री कंडिशन झालंय का नाही परफॉर्मन्स. म्हणजे इथे मी काहीतरी क्रायटेरिया टाकणार, इथे मी काहीतरी लर्निंग स्टेटमेंटची कंडिशन टाकणार, आणि देन माय आउटकम विल बी, कोर्स आउटकम विल बी डिफाईन. बट इट इज नेसेसरी दॅट मिनिमम 2 हॅव टू बी देअर. 2 तरी ह्याच्यामधले, परफॉर्मन्स इज अ मस्ट, आणि कंडिशन किंवा क्रायटेरिया काहीतरी तर असलं पाहिजे. सो आय विल इव्हॅल्युएट दिस, म्हणजे अजून थोडंसं आपण डिटेल मध्ये जाऊ याच्या. ओके, नाउ दिस लेट अस लुक ॲट दिस एक्झाम्पल. आता या एक्झाम्पल मध्ये व्हॉट आय हॅव डन, एक कोर्स आउटकम आहे, नीट वाचा तुम्ही. डिटरमाइन द रूट ऑफ द गिव्हन इक्वेशन accurate to second decimal place using Newton-Raphson method. Okay. So what is the performance here? Performance म्हणजे मी तुम्हाला काय सांगितलं, action verb is the performance. So determine the root of the given equation is the performance. म्हणजे त्यानं ते केलं व्यवस्थित, तर तो परफॉर्म केला त्याने. आता सेकंड काय, क्रायटेरिया काय माझा, म्हणजे लर्निंग स्टेटमेंट काय माझा क्रायटेरिया, म्हणजे त्यांना 2 accurate to second decimal पाहिजेत, मला 2 डेसिमल प्लेसेसची अॅक्युरसी पाहिजे. दॅट काइंड ऑफ अॅक्युरसी इज माय क्रायटेरिया. आणि माझी कंडिशन काय, की त्याने न्यूटन रॅप्सन मेथड वापरावी, दुसरी कुठली न्यूमेरिकल अनालिसिसची मेथड वापरू नये. दॅट इज माय कंडिशन. सो दिस इज कॉल्ड एज द परफॉर्मन्स क्रायटेरिया अँड कंडिशन, अँड दिस इज द परफेक्ट कोर्स आउटकम स्टेटमेंट, राईट. आता मी अजून एक दुसरं स्टेटमेंट दाखवलं इथे. त्या दुसऱ्या स्टेटमेंट मध्ये कॅल्क्युलेट, मेजर अँड, आता हे कसं मेकॅनिकलचं आहे, फ्लुइड फ्लो मध्ये बऱ्याच जणांना माहित असेल की एखाद्या पाईप मधनं जेव्हा फ्लो जातो तर दोन काइंड्स ऑफ फ्लो असतात, एक लॅमिनार फ्लो आणि एक टर्ब्युलंट फ्लो. तर आता त्याच्यात लॉसेस होतात, डेफिनेटली फ्लो होताना काही लॉसेस होतात, मेजर मायनर. जसं इलेक्ट्रिसिटीमध्ये ट्रान्समिशन लाईन्स मध्ये लॉसेस होतात तसे इथे पण होतात. सो कॅल्क्युलेट मेजर अँड मायनर लॉसेस असोसिएटेड विथ फ्लुइड फ्लो. आता हे मेजर अँड मायनर, कॅल्क्युलेट हा काय झाला, परफॉर्मन्स झाला माझा, म्हणून कॅल्क्युलेट मेजर अँड मायनर लॉसेस हा माझा परफॉर्मन्स झाला. व्हॉट इज नेक्स्ट? क्रायटेरियन आहे का इथे? काही नाही, मला काही त्याची मी अॅक्युरसी किंवा फ्लो रेट वगैरे काही दिलेलं नाहीये, म्हणून तो नील आहे इथे. आणि कंडिशन काय की मला टर्ब्युलंट नको, मला कंडिशन मला लॅमिनार फ्लो पाहिजे. म्हणजे मेथोडॉलॉजी काय इथे अशी न्यूटन रॅप्सन होती तशी इथे लॅमिनार फ्लोची आहे. त्यामुळे दॅट इज कॉल्ड ॲज द कंडिशन. ओके, सो दिस इज द अगेन अ व्हेरी गुड कोर्स आउटकम स्टेटमेंट. सो दॅट इज हाऊ वी फॉर्म्युलेट द कोर्स आउटकम. अजून एक स्टेटमेंट आहे जे अगदीच जनरिक आहे पण त्याच्यातल्या काही ठोकताळे आहेत ते सांगतो तुम्हाला. So writing course outcome and approach. Again, one more approach. Supposing आपण असं लिहिलं, students will be able to write a research paper. तसं म्हटलं तर बरोबर आहे, एबल टू राईट अ रिसर्च पेपर हा झाला परफॉर्मन्स. पण याच्यामध्ये क्रायटेरिया नाही, कंडिशन नाहीये. मग दोन तर आपल्याला आपण सांगितलं तर दोन पाहिजेत आपल्याला. सो हाऊ कॅन वी डू दॅट? पण म्हणजे आता इथे काहीतरी मला क्रायटेरिया टाकला पाहिजे. क्रायटेरिया म्हणजे त्याला IEEE फॉर्मॅट मध्ये, म्हणजे आम्ही इंजिनिअरिंग मध्ये IEEE ला पब्लिश करतो IEEE किंवा अप्रोप्रिएट सायंटिफिक स्टाईल म्हणू आपण. सो स्टुडंट्स विल बी एबल टू राईट अ रिसर्च पेपर इन अप्रोप्रिएट सायंटिफिक स्टाईल. ओके, सो दॅट इज द स्कोपस इंडेक्स किंवा तुमचं UGC केअर लिस्ट मध्ये आलं पाहिजे. कंडिशन, आता इथे थोडं कंडिशनचं डेव्हिएशन आहे. डेव्हिएशन म्हणजे ऍट द एंड ऑफ देअर फील्ड रिसर्च. कंडिशन काय, ह्याचं रिसर्च एवढी टाइमलाईन झाल्यावर ऍट द एंड ऑफ देअर फील्ड रिसर्च students will be able to write a research paper in the appropriate scientific style. म्हणजे हे झालं कम्प्लीट आता तुमचं कोर्स आउटकम स्टेटमेंट. तसं अजून एक थोडंसं रिलेव्हंट आहे. ऍट द एंड ऑफ द फील्ड सर्वे द स्टुडंट विल बी एबल टू राईट अ रिपोर्ट, फील्ड सर्वे झाल्यावर, ऑन द स्टेटस ऑफ द प्रॉब्लेम. म्हणजे ते पण झालं, लर्निंग स्टेटमेंट झालं, प्रॉब्लेम इन IEEE फॉर्मॅट युझिंग लॅटेक्स. म्हणजे त्यांनी सॉफ्टवेअर कुठलं वापरावं हे पण सांगितलंय की मला एक्सपेक्टेड वर्ड मध्ये नकोय, मायक्रोसॉफ्ट वर्ड मध्ये नकोय, तर मला लॅटेक मध्ये पाहिजे, म्हणजे युनिक्स वर लायनेक्स वर ऑपरेट करणार. सो दॅट इज कॉल्ड ॲज द कोर्स आउटकम. कसं फ्रेम करायचं, दिस इज अ थंब रूल. आय मीन हे काही कुठे प्रूव्हन हे नाहीये, पण एक लर्निंग एक्सपिरियन्स किंवा लिटरेचर मध्ये अशा प्रकारचे कोर्स आउटकम स्टेटमेंट्स असतात. बट देर आर सम डोंट्स ऑल्सो. हे आपण डूज शिकलो सगळे, कसं नसायला पाहिजे. इनअप्रोप्रिएट वर्ब्स इन CO. जसं मी तुम्हाला सांगितलं, स्टुडंट्स विल नो, ह्या नोला काही अर्थ नसतो, त्याला काही मेझरेबल नाहीये. हे दिस इज नॉट मेझरेबल, ऑब्झर्वेबल, देअरफॉर इट इज नॉट. आता याच्यामध्ये काय चूक आहे सांगा. द टीचर विल टेल व्हाय सो अँड सो ऑर हाऊ सो अँड सो. व्हॉट इज द रॉंग थिंग हिअर? द थिंग इज दॅट टीचर विल टेल हेच चुकीचं आहे. पहिल्यांदा आपल्याला कोर्स आउटकमचा ऑब्जेक्टिव्ह काय आपलं, किंवा कोर्स आउटकम कसं लिहायला पाहिजे, what students will be able to do at the end of the course. माझा सब्जेक्ट संपल्यावर स्टुडंटचे नॉलेज, स्किल्स आणि ऍटिट्यूड मध्ये काय चेंजेस असतील, काय दे विल बी एबल टू डू. त्याच्यामुळे दॅट इज रॉंग. फील अ स्ट्रॉंग कमिटमेंट टू प्रोफेशनल एथिक्स. तर फील हा मेजरेबल नाहीये, त्याच्यामुळे आपल्याला परत इथे हा वापरता येणार नाहीये. परत जसं मी म्हणलं, अंडरस्टँड हा पण नाही वापरता येणार. अप्रिशिएट मध्ये पण तुम्हाला स्पेसिफिक मेजरेबल नाही येत. ते अप्रिशिएटला कसं टँजेबल आउटकम करणार तुम्ही, त्याच्यामुळे दॅट इज ऑल्सो नॉट ऍक्सेप्टेबल. दिस स्टेटमेंट ऑल्सो इज अ पुअर CO. स्टुडंट्स विल बी एबल टू डू रिसर्च. रिसर्च म्हणजे काय, एवढा मोठा रिसर्च कशात करणार, काय करणार, प्रॉब्लेम स्टेटमेंट काय, त्याचा हायपोथेसिस काय, तो डेटा काय कलेक्ट करणार, त्याची मेथोडॉलॉजी रिसर्चची कुठली वापरणार. सो दॅट ऑल्सो यू कॅन से इट इज ऑल्सो नॉट ऍक्सेप्टेबल. Now let us understand some guidelines for writing COs. So the first guideline is CO must be simple without vagueness or the ambiguity. म्हणजे त्याच्यात ते हे नकोय की मला डायलेमा नकोय की हा शब्द त्याचं मेजरेबल होणार नाही, ambiguity नको. And it must be listed in the sequence of taxonomical level. म्हणजे काय की लेव्हल 1 चेच आधी CO लिहा, मग लेव्हल 2 चे लिहा. म्हणजे अंडरस्टँडचे, रिमेंबरच्या आधी लिहा, मग अंडरस्टँडचे लिहा, मग अप्लायचे लिहा, मग अनालाइजचे लिहा, मग इव्हॅल्युएटचे लिहा, आणि मग क्रिटिकल थिंकिंगचे, क्रिएटिव्हिटीचे लिहा. दॅट इज कॉल्ड एज द It's taking a lot of time to click even. I don't know what has happened. Focus on knowledge and skills that are central to the course, topic and or discipline. Okay. Knowledge and skills you please focus on. That is the meaning. Create statements that are student centered rather than the faculty centered. As I have told you, it is student centered as students will be able to do. Faculty centered statements are not acceptable. Focus on learning result from the course rather than describing activities or lessons in the course. Okay, म्हणजे तुम्ही काय शिकवणार आहेत, ऑब्जेक्टिव्ह काय, that should not come into the outcome. Learning result has to come into the outcome. And it is advisable to use only one action verb in each course outcome. And if two are there, one can be from the cognitive domain and other can be from the psychomotor or the affective domain. But both from the cognitive, try to avoid writing the COs using that. It must be realistic, achievable, that already I have told you. Quantifiable, measurable, that also I have told you. And normally limit it to the 5 to 7 course outcome statements for the entire course. Actually, I had put this slide, but I don't know whether you will be able to, because this is relevant to the Ohm's law. Okay. So if you are teaching the module on Ohm's law, and if these are your course outcomes, so you are writing, explain fundamental concepts in the circuit theory, then apply equations to derive circuit, analyze the circuit diagrams, design electronic and debug. Then what kind of question paper you will set for such a CO? So in the question paper also, every CO has to come into picture. So you are writing state. So that is coming in the maybe part of PO1. Then you are analyzing or you are designing the problem, or you are formulating or calculating some value. Then you are analyzing, then you are designing. So this kind of question paper one has to set. Now in engineering colleges, this process has become so much evolved that now faculty is putting the predefined templates. की प्रत्येक फॅकल्टीला ते ती प्रीडिफाईन टेम्पलेट देतात की असा आला पाहिजे, याच्यामध्ये हा प्रॉब्लेम टाका, इथे प्रॉब्लेमच टाका, इथे कॅल्क्युलेटर्स करा, इथे अनालाइजचा टाका, इथे डिझाईनचा टाका, so that your all course outcomes will be evaluated properly.
Not audible.
Madam, you are not audible. Hello. Maybe you can unshare and share the document again so that
I will call madam.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes.
Now.
No, I don't know, somehow something wrongly pressed. And okay. So these are the one subject course outcomes I have listed. I'll not go into the details, but I'll just make you a point. Notice that identify, explain, define, compare and contrast, evaluate and classify, summarize, everything is included here. So that is introduction to business, MBA course, or maybe it is in the BCom also. Yes. And then there is a lot of problems I'm facing today. Nevertheless, it has happened earlier. I don't know, even my enter and click also is not working. So this is for the music appreciation and history course. So again, you can notify this, notice this, identify, list, describe, recognize and discriminate. Okay. Then now what I have done in the remember, how can you make the statements using that vocabulary I have written here. So because it is the ability to recall, these all examples can come under the remember, define, acceleration, outline, label, list. Then Likewise for understand, in the understand, able to understand, interpret, summarize, and the common words I have listed here: reading material, presentations, discussions, graph, charts, and then you can write the, using these words, you can write relevant to your course, all the course outcomes. Okay. Likewise for the apply. So by the end of this lesson, students will be able to compute their annual pocket money using mathematical formula. Compute means actually they are applying the knowledge, and with the help of some formula they are computing. Then use, forecast, demonstrate, show. So all these things would be possible using this apply. Then similarly for the analyze. Analyze, as I have told you, always keep in mind that is the, you are breaking the information into different components. Okay, and that information you are analyzing, and then you are drawing inferences out of that, and then you are making the attributions. So differentiate between differential and interferential statistics, compare and contrast. Then here illustrate, then analyze, again analyze the information in the marketing research. Okay, so likewise you can do it for evaluate as well as for the create. So now by this time, I hope you have understood how to formulate statements using different levels of the Bloom's taxonomy in the cognitive domain. Okay, in the create is a very difficult domain. Difficult in the sense, unless you have a special activity in the examination, you cannot put this. In the activity, you can definitely put this. So develop, create, compose, form, and make. So that is there. And different subjects I have taken from some literature. So for remember, suppose it is a physics, then by the end of this course, students will be able to recite Newton's laws of motion. Then history, by the end of this course, students will be able to explain the causes of French Revolution. So this kind of you can definitely make as a course outcomes. Okay. So I'll again skip this portion because many things we are supposed to cover. And let us face now one more quiz. Okay, you can write in the chat box. In the other laptop I have everything. Somebody has asked any doubt, we can break for 5 minutes so that madam gets time. No, I am it's okay for me. Thank you so much, Nita. Dr. Poonam has said another example of merging two levels of taxonomy. We have used articulate basic concepts and propose the suitable method of quality. Yeah, that is fine. Actually, what COs that you have formed is also fine, but to make sure that it should be possible to evaluate, or you have some assessment tool to evaluate that. Once you are able to, once you are confident about its evaluation, then definitely. Hello. Some echoing is happening. I don't know. Okay. Let us move ahead. Shall we accept these COs? I have on the screen I have written. No, we cannot accept. Professor Anna, he's principal from some college. She has Anna Pratima. Lolly also says no. Neelam also says no. No. Why? Can somebody write the reason in the chat box? Why? Somebody says yes. Bindu, it is not possible to write. Well, I'll tell you the reason. But if they should start with verbs, the ability is not tangible. That is not the reason. Ability to define, ability to explain, that is there. Ability is not measurable. No, that is not the reason. I am not getting the correct answer. Please write the correct answer. It does not aim. Some can be acceptable. Only first two principles of Bloom are used. Yeah, Dr. Ashwini Deshpande said it very rightly. Only first two Bloom's levels are used. The others who have written the other answers, I'll explain you. This ability to is a common word. That is not an action word. Ability. What is action verb is to define, to explain, to list, to discuss, to explain. These are the action verbs. And various norms, these are the learning statements. So from the CO point of view, these are okay. But why these COs are not acceptable? Because Bloom's level only remember, understand. Remember, understand. अरे अपना remember, understand के ऊपर जा रहा ही नहीं है ना. And if you look at the graduate attributes, those graduate attributes are not mapped, none of the graduate attributes are mapped to the remember and understand directly. Indirectly, you can make a correlation, but directly it cannot be mapped. That is the reason. Yeah, very good. I'll also ask you one more question. Now let us look at this and tell me whether it is acceptable or not. Shall we accept these COs? Yeah, Sangeeta also has written very nicely. No application covered. That is not the reason. Yeah, yes, yes. Prabha has written yes. Dr. Seema has written yes. Yes, yes. Uma Shankar has written yes. Srila, Dr. Manisha. Good, good, good. So everybody is ready to accept this as a COs. And what is the reason? Can somebody write the reason in the chat box? Yes, Samir is also telling yes. What is the reason? Majority Bloom attributes are covered. Yes, yes, that is very good. All levels are covered. Yeah, it is advisable. From this, what we can learn, it is advisable that all Bloom's cognitive domain levels should be covered in your domains. Then only students' abilities towards the higher order thinking, or maybe little higher order, not ekdam higher order. Create तक जाते नहीं हम लोग, apply, analyze. इतना ही exam तक हम लोग ले सकते हैं. But definitely modern tools तक आ गए हम लोग यहाँ. So school, so that is the correct. So that is acceptable. Okay. So good. What about this? Is it acceptable? Analyze and apply normalization concepts for relational schema. Amol is telling yes. It is advisable rather than yeah, advisable. Accept hota hai, advisable hai kya nahi? That is more important. So no. Yeah, that is true. It is not advisable to write. Yeah, somebody has written reasons also. Yeah, because two verbs. Yeah, Lolly has written 2 verbs. Yeah, that's great. Good, good. So basically, apply and analyze. These are the 2 major cognitive domains. Apply ek level hai, analyze ek level hai, and they are actually directly mapping to the graduate attributes. And therefore, it is advisable not to use this. Combine this in a single CO. Okay, you can write separate COs. Again, I have written this. Please go through it quickly. We have only 1 hour remaining now. CO1, CO2, and in test 1, CO1, CO3, CO4, CO5 in test 3. In test 1 में हमने CO1, CO2 किया, CO3, CO4, and CO5, CO6 in test 3. What is the answer? No, my question is, such kind of COs, this pattern is acceptable or not? Yes or no?
Yes, it is acceptable.
Yes, it is acceptable, but what happens? I have told you that not to define it from units. 1 and 2 means CO1 and CO2 kiya, 3 and 4. It has to be along with the TLP and the syllabus and the assessment tools. Because in the exam, if somebody is not appearing for the unit 3 and 4, or somebody is not attempting from anything from unit 3, then those COs will not be attempted. And all are from the syllabus only. Normally, what is advisable? Syllabus, TLP, and the assessment tools. Let us move ahead quickly now. I hope all of you are with me and getting it correctly. Please write in the chat box yes, 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 if you are with me and getting it correctly. Good, good. Thank you. Thank you. So let us move ahead. What is the program outcomes or program specific outcomes? Before that, let me quickly tell you what is the program educational objectives. So in the National Board of Accreditation, we actually assess the or do the attainment of the PEOs whenever the student gets graduated and after 5 years of graduation, wherever she or he is working. So there we'll try to see whether all the accomplishments he is satisfactorily doing or not. Okay, so these are the broad statements that describe the career and professional accomplishments in 5 years of graduation that the program is preparing graduates to achieve. That's all I'll tell you about the PEOs. I'll not confuse you by writing anything else about the PEO. The only thing you remember that after 5 years of graduation, they are assessed whether they are successfully doing their career and professional accomplishments are achieved or not. Now, program outcomes. Now, basically, what is the program outcome? Like course outcome, these are actually expected. Students are expected to show their skills and abilities at the end of the graduation. So POs are expressed in statements that describe significant and essential learning. Now that is most important. Out of the entire program, I mean, entire program is of 3 years or 4 years, and in every year there are a couple of semesters. From that, what is the significant and essential learning that one has to extract and can be reliably demonstrated at the end of the program. Okay. So they identify what learners are expected to know. Parat tesh shabd, to know and will be able to do by the end of the program or upon the graduation. So that is the thing. Again, this is related to the skills, knowledge, attitude, and behavior that the students acquire through the program or should have at the end of the program. So again, whenever you are formulating, coincidentally and fortunately, professional colleges, they don't need to frame these program outcomes because NBA has given these graduate attributes, and they have been insisting that you do not deviate from these POs. Earlier, they used to tell deviate to some extent, but now they are telling us not to deviate. In toto, you try to use these POs as it is. In your case also, I'll describe sometime later. Yes, we need to match, Madhavi is asking, we need to match the graduate attributes with POs. Yeah, this is what PO and graduate attributes are one and the same. In case of engineering, whatever the graduate attributes are there, we are calling the same as a program outcomes. But they may be differing. In case if you want to have your own program outcomes, then you can actually have that in alignment with the graduate attributes. So, pehla kya hai? Apply knowledge. So, aapka bhi apply knowledge hona chahiye. Okay. Could you please elaborate distinction between the PO and PEO? Yeah. Basically, na, Dr. Vani, PO is at the end of the program, what skills and abilities you are expecting that student. Okay, just fresh program exit survey bolte hain hum log. जब हमको समझता है कि उसको कितना आया है, कितना skills abilities develop हुआ है through, that is indirect evaluation. What is program educational objective? Why they are evaluated after 4 to 5 years? That means I am ensuring that my student, my alumnus, after working in the industry for 4 to 5 years, is as a successful engineer. I mean, after 4 to 5 years, if he survives in the industry successfully, then whatever the program has taught him is presumed to be the good one. So that is how the difference. It is an objective program, educational objective. Again, the first difference is objective and outcome. But those objectives are also attained as if that is the outcome. That is the major difference. Okay. PEO long term program educational objective is the long term of the PEO. Somebody asked Uma madam. Okay. Now PO क्या करता है? Program outcomes, general aspects of graduation. General skills क्या होता है? BCom में, commerce में, पूरा commerce में general skills, arts में पूरा general skills का होता है for a particular program. And the competencies and the expertise. जैसे हमने COs के लिए बात किया है, the same बात a graduate will possess after completion of the program. Program completion के बाद what you are expecting. This will be more clear whenever I'll be going into the details. So somebody asked the same thing, program outcome and the graduate attributes. They are one and the same. This is the generic engineering graduate capability. Attribute म्हणजे काय की त्याचे features काय, त्याचे characteristics काय. UGC ने तुमच्या ह्याच्यामध्ये graduate characteristics म्हणलेले आहे. इथे जसं attribute म्हणले तसं UGC च्या डॉक्युमेंट मध्ये higher education साठी त्यांनी characteristics म्हणले. Generic engineering graduate capabilities. So what capabilities, abilities and skills the graduate is having at the end of the program? Defined through Washington Accord, which I have told you. Actually, this is accepted by all the countries, and maybe I think 7 to 8 years back, India also accepted that as a signatory of Washington Accord, and NBA has accepted those as they are. And what is the basic advantage of this? Because if some engineering college, electronics engineers, a student has done electronics engineering, and that electronics engineering department is having NBA. I mean, it is accredited by NBA. And supposing he is going into the North Carolina, and there he is doing that post-graduation, and some course he has already done in the NBA accredited college in India, then he will be getting the exemption. That means students will be considered at par with their institute. So they are also WA signatory, and we are also WA signatory. India is also WA signatory. So NBA accredited institutes will be recognized globally across the globe. That is the major advantage that student would be getting. Okay. And what is the PSO? Now PSO, program specific outcomes, that also I'll tell you, but a little later. You means to say PEOs are mapped 5 years after the graduation. No, that is not the way. But right now, Dr. Nalanda, I'll not go into the details of the PO. Let us finish and then we can have the queries. I'll definitely come back to you. So in short, जो short form बोलते हैं, acronym बोलते हैं. So engineering knowledge is in the PO1. Problem analysis is in the PO2. Design and development of solutions is in the PO3. And investigation of a complex problem is PO4. अभी जो ये पहले 4 है plus थोड़ा 5 का भी भाग. Modern tool also you can take. This is a core knowledge, intellect based. Cognitive domain को map करते हैं. All this. Where these are mapping to the cognitive domain. Engineer and society. What does it mean? That means how relevant professional practices of my engineer towards the society whenever he or she is working in a society. Environmental and sustainability. What is the impact of some engineering complex problems? Some problems to the environment and sustainability. Ethic. Whether professional ethics any commerce graduate is following whenever he or she is doing the CA ship. So that maybe individual and teamwork. Individual and teamwork is what are the skills the students are doing whenever in the project work. It is their individual responsibility. Supposing somebody says, I cannot, I'm not comfortable in doing a teamwork. So then that affective domain comes into picture. Feel factor, that emotional part. I cannot work with others. I can work only in my own way. So teamwork, leadership skills, communication also comes under the skills. Lifelong learning, that is attitude. How your knowledge all will be giving you the lifelong learning to the whenever you are working in a corporate or in a society, whenever you are living in a society. Project management and finance. So many things, so many aspects these things would be giving you. In detail, these are written here, but whatever I have told you, the same thing is written here. So you can quickly go through, apply the knowledge. Now you can look at it. It is very complex to read. If I read the line, it is very difficult for someone to map this to the COs. Apply the knowledge of mathematics, science, engineering fundamentals. That means what consider they are considering knowledge of mathematics, knowledge of science, knowledge of engineering fundamentals, and an engineering specialization. That means electronics hai, computer hai, IT hai, to the solution of complex engineering problem. So in any of your course outcomes, whenever you are thinking of mapping that to this PO1, then it should reflect one of these components written here. Analysis, that means whether your graduate is able to identify, formulate, research literature, and analyze complex engineering problems, reaching substantiated conclusions using the first principles of mathematics, natural sciences, and engineering sciences. Then design and development of solutions, whether complex components, system components, entire system, whether they are able to design, whether they are able to do the embedded systems, dedicated projects or not. That is the design and development. Conduct investigation of complex problems. Actually, यहाँ तो सबको लगता है, knowledge भी लगता है, analysis भी लगता है, design भी लगता है. Use research related knowledge and research methods, including design of experiments. That is a typical method in DOE बोलते हैं इसको. Analysis and interpretation of data. Synthesis. Okay. Then modern tool usage. That means there are many tools, software tools, which industry is using and we are expecting our students to use. There are many open source tools. Whether that is incorporated in your curriculum or not, whether they are able to competent enough to use those tools or not, that is called as the modern tool usage. Engineer and society, I have already told you. That is the whenever these safety, legal, cultural, societal, and health issues are there. So what is the consequent responsibility relevant to the professional engineering practice? Whenever they are doing the professional engineering practice, so what is the consequent responsibilities of an engineer towards these issues? Societal, health, safety, legal, and cultural issues. Next. Environment and sustainability, that also I have told you. Understand the impact of the professional engineering solutions in societal and environment. What is this? Suppose EMI, EMC हमारा एक subject रहता है. Those the telephone wires or the high kV lines, high power lines, electricity lines are going, transmission lines, so that electromagnetic waves are generated. So that is making an impact on a human body. So there are some norms and regulations to be followed by the engineers. So that is happening or not. What is the impact of that on environmental and sustainability? Whether you are doing ethical conduct or not, you are well aware about all this. And then the remaining I have already told you, lifelong learning. So these are called as the graduate attributes or the program outcomes. Friends, I'll tell you that in your case also, in higher education, I have gone through that document. This is a typical MMS program outcomes of MMS program. Apply knowledge of management theories and practices. This is given by NBA only. Ability to develop value-based leadership ability. Ability to understand, analyze, and communicate global economical. This is already given by the university. So actually they have written program may add up to 3 additional POs, but that was earlier. I mean, now they cannot add. Now NBA is telling that you tried in toto whatever they are. Okay, I hope up to this you have understood. Okay, POs you have understood. So I'll tell you now about your. I tried to go out of way to read all these documents. You probably may not believe, but since long I have been preparing for this topic, because somehow I was not comfortable with your program outcomes. It took a lot of my time to understand. And recently there is a quality mandate law published by UGC, which is adopted in 2018. That was a Guru Purnima day. And this is the e-book, flip book available on the UGC website. And one of the objectives is that, I have not listed other objectives, improve the graduate outcomes. What is the graduate outcomes is nothing but the program outcomes for the students, so that at least 50% of them get access to the employment and or self-employment or engage themselves in the aim of higher education. So that is the mandate or the objective that is published on in this book. And in order to achieve this objective, what initiatives government of India is taking. So these initiatives also they have listed, and the relevant initiative to this objective is the LOCF, Learning Outcome Based Curriculum Framework, revision of curriculum in regular intervals. And what is my understanding is that by this time, around 25 specializations, English, history, geography, they have listed all these 19 subjects plus Sanskrit and all those subjects. They have done actually LOCF document. I have also gone through one of the LOCF document, and but that clarity is yet to happen. I mean, the clarity with which AICT has come up with the engineering courses program outcomes, that clarity, to that extent I did not see the clarity, but I'll show you that document also. So these are the graduate attributes listed by the UGC. This is the document. Okay, I'll just go through the document just to let you understand. I could get this learning outcome based, and here actually they have graduate attributes they are calling. Yeah, then the quality descriptors, these all I have shown in my PPT, so that is there. Then the qualification descriptors they have mentioned, and thereafter they are giving the program outcomes, program learning outcomes, PLOs. Okay, so course learning outcomes, and a sample they have given for some courses. Program learning outcomes, I can do page view. So this is for BSc Physics, they have given some examples. So they have given demonstrate so and so, the long statements they have made, demonstrate the ability of the physics skills. In general, that is the generic skills are reflected from the BSc Physics candidate. Recognize the importance of mathematical modeling, plan and execute physics related experiment, demonstrate relevant. And thereafter maybe I think Bachelor of Education, B.Ed course also they have given. So few courses program outcomes they have given. I know long questions are there in the chat box, but I am unable to right now read those questions. Maybe in the discussions we can take those questions.
At the end we will read.
At the end we'll take, because I'll complete first.
Yes.
So I'll not go into the details of this, but just to have a flavor of what kind of attributes UGC has designed for the higher educational institutes. So that is the disciplinary knowledge. See, whatever I have told you, the same thing is there. Fundamentals of engineering, that is the disciplinary. Communication skills, the level is different. I mean, the PO1, PO2, that numbering is different, but I don't know why they have put the bullets there in their document also. Normally the dots, actually it is listed as a numeric number, so that, because all the time we are calling it as a PO1, PO2, PO3. So communication skills, then critical thinking, problem solving, analytical reasoning, all these things are there. Research related skills, cooperation and the term work, the teamwork, sorry, scientific reasoning, then reflective thinking, then information and digital literacy, self-directed learning, multicultural, moral and ethical awareness, everything is written by the UGC, that as a graduate attributes. And they have made an attempt to alignment, to have the in alignment with the program outcomes, PLOs. They're calling it as a PLOs. So actually that is what they have done, that mapping. Okay. So it is very difficult. Actually, I am not the competent enough to take any of your subject and do that, because my background, my specialization is different, my discipline is different. So I cannot make justice to the any other subject, any other discipline. So kindly excuse me for that, and let us move ahead. So program specific outcomes. So what is the program specific outcomes? Probably in the engineering or in the professional courses, what is expected that since the graduate attributes, they are same for IT, computer, electronics, communication, biomedical, any graduate and any engineering discipline you take, all the graduate attributes are common. That means program outcomes are common. Then how do I identify the specific skills from an electronics engineer, from the IT engineers, from computer engineers, from mechanical engineers, civil, electrical? So that is how the program specific outcomes came into picture. And only 2 to 3 program specific outcomes specific to that program. Therefore, it is written that the capability to integrate a program specific knowledge with skills to research further into specific program area and or develop products with the concern to society, economics and environment. What does it mean? Integrate program specific knowledge. This word is very important. Capability to integrate program specific knowledge with skills to research further into specific program area. So supposing in electronics, embedded is the one part, VLSI or embedded, or maybe process control, or maybe automation, or maybe IoT. So all these things, all these skills in all the courses collectively, if you can embed in 2 to 3 statements, then that is called as the program specific outcomes. And that is how we are getting the advantage in the second bullet. Because of these PSOs, once they look at the PSOs, they know that this guy is compatible with my discipline. So in the foreign countries, whenever they go for MS, they get the exemptions for the courses, okay, to obtain the work license in any country across the globe. So that is what is major advantage we are getting for the engineering students. Now here electronics engineering PSOs I have written, but I will not spend time in this, because anyway there is nobody from electronics stream here, and these are the mechanical engineering PSOs I have written. I have not seen any document for the PSOs in UGC document. So I am unable to tell you right now what is the position of the PSOs in higher education. Maybe during the discussions we can have elaborative
अच्छे से बारीक करना, फिर टमाटर, अदरक, लहसुन, टमाटर जैसे धनिया पाउडर, मिर्ची पाउडर.
Course outcomes, when to assess. When to assess means course outcomes upon completion of course. Okay. So because we take the exams, we do the analysis, then the CO attainment we do. That is what is called as the course outcome attainment. Program outcome is upon the graduation. That is the PO attainment. And PEO, that is after 4 to 5 years. So that is the cycle we follow in the engineering. In the higher education also, COs and POs at the same time we are supposed to assess. Now the important topic, that is the COPO mapping. Okay, let me finish this and then we can have discussions. Now, basically, mapping is what? It is a correlation. I mean, course outcomes and program outcomes, how can we correlate with each other? Now, you all know that for correlation to happen or mapping to happen, there has to be some common factor between them. And what is that common factor? In everything here also, as well as here also, we are actually looking for the competency. What we are looking for this competency. And this competency is based on knowledge, skills, and attitude. So these are the three important KSA parameters based on which we can map program outcomes to the course outcomes. So basically the action verb which we are using for formulating the course outcomes as well as the program outcomes, those action verbs, we know that it is a common pool. If you find that action verbs are in the common pool, then definitely we can correlate them. So that is the way. लेक्चर करायचं कशी करणार तू नाही घे so actually okay, so program outcomes, these are listed like this. You know all this, I have already told you, and I have written here the cognitive skills and attitude. So now I know pretty sure that engineering knowledge comes under cognitive. Analysis also is a cognitive. Action verbs are all from the cognitive domain. All cognitive domain levels: analyze, understand, evaluate, create. Those all are coming from this. So my first four POs are directly mapping to the cognitive domain. Okay. When I say modern tool usage, unless I have knowledge, I cannot do that. So cognitive is there, and that is nothing but what? That is the skill also. So modern tools is the, unless that is a skill set, how to use, that is a skill set required. So it is skills also. Then engineers and society, environment and sustainability, ethics, these are all coming from the attitude. Life learning is also a attitude. And project management and finance, for that knowledge is also required, and for that skills are also required. Actually skills also should come here. Okay. So this, why I'm doing this, because I am telling you that we already have, through the Bloom's taxonomy cognitive domain, we have already formulated some course outcomes wherein we are using those action verbs. And here also in the program outcomes, I am now correlating that to this. Now I am correlating this to this, that is already correlated. Now what is my job? My job is now very simple, just to map them. ये मेरा कोर्स स्टेटमेंट देखना है, सीओ देखना है, एंड ये कहाँ मैप होता है उतना देखना है. दैट इज व्हाट इज वेरी सिंपल. लेट अस गो इनटू द डिटेल्स. Sorry, remembering now, see, this is the actually mapping that is being done. So remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing. Okay, so actually first two levels of the Bloom's taxonomy, they are nevertheless directly mapped to any of the graduate attributes. Of course, strongly not mapped. I can say strongly not mapped. Weakly they can be mapped. What is strong and weak, that also I'll tell you. And here is the apply knowledge, problem analysis. Now apply knowledge here also is applying is there. So Bloom's taxonomy level 3 is mapped to the PO1. Bloom's taxonomy analyzing level 4 is mapped to the problem analysis. Evaluating is the Bloom's taxonomy level 5. That is not analyzed, that is not mapped to the PO3, but it is mapped to the conduct investigations. That is the PO4. Because in the investigations, we actually try to analyze, evaluate everything. And creating, which is the last level of the Bloom's taxonomy, that is design and development of the solutions. That is to the PO3. Okay. So this is the basis which we can take for doing the mapping. So let us quickly go through. So now this slide is very important. You can thoroughly look at it. So these are the course outcomes. these are the action verbs which are used in the course outcomes. For example, compute the gain of a single stage amplifier using transistor and circuit parameters. What is my action verb? Compute is the action verb. Where from that compute word is coming, in which Bloom's taxonomy level? It is in the apply. I have told you all the action verb pool of words. So that is applying. So that is the compute is coming from the applying, which is, it is satisfying the PO, that is satisfying the PO1, right? Here is the analyze. It is very direct for analyze. मेरा circuit course outcome में analyze word आ रहा है, and here the analyze is the 4th level Bloom's taxonomy. And in the PO2 it is the 2nd level. It is the PO2 is giving the problem analysis, isn't it? So that is mapped to the PO2. Now design and develop a digital system of a given specification in FPGA using EDA tool. Since the tool word is coming, I am mapping that to the modern tool usage, that is the PO5. And since the design and develop is coming, which is the create level in the Bloom's taxonomy, design and develop is the 6th create level. So that is the PO3. So I am mapping these two outcomes, PO3 and PO5. And justify. Justify is coming under the evaluate. So that is the PO4. So that is the PO4. Now you can see that I could now able to map my POs with the COs. But till now we are only looking into the cognitive domain. Okay. So this is the another slide you can see. Here also you can see ability to define, understand and explain. So remember and understand mein aata hai. So that is the level 1 and level 2. And which assessment tool I can use? I can have exam, assignments, kuch bhi I can do. Then again apply, it is directly apply kis mein aata hai? PO1 mein aata hai. So that is the PO1. So level is the Bloom's taxonomy level apply mein 3 hai. So again I can have these many assessment tool. Ability to analyze. Analyze comes under the PO2. So that is the L4. Okay. So exam, assignment, seminar, everything can be done. So like this you can actually map. Here actually design database and application for a given scenario. So design bhi hai, teamwork bhi hai, communication bhi hai. So they have mapped all PO3, PO9 and PO10. One more thing I'll show you. Okay. So these are the examples. Now plain COPO table I am showing you. How to map this. So basically we are writing in the rows all the course outcomes, and in the columns we are writing the program outcomes or the PLOs and CLOs. Now we have to just make a tick mark wherever they are mapped. CO1 is mapped to the PO1 suppose. So I'll write here the tick mark. CO2. So in this cell of this matrix, I'll be writing a tick mark. So likewise, actually, we are doing the COPO mapping. And here I can write, you can see here, I am writing here 3. So apply skill set 2, 3. What is this 3? 3 is, there is sometimes 2 is written, sometimes 1 is written. So that is called as the mapping strength, strength of mapping. Okay. So it is very important to understand what is the strength of mapping. That is what is most important. So low, medium and strong. These are the 3 levels of the strength of mapping. I mean, my CO is strongly mapped to this PO. My CO is weakly mapped. My CO is medium level mapped to the PO. That is what is called as the low, medium and strong. Who decides low, medium, strong? It is the decides based on the competency of the curriculum, pedagogical methods, that means the TLP, syllabus and assessment tools. Again, this all 3 same things which I have told in the beginning. Okay. So that is how we are supposed to map the COs and POs. Now let us go into the details of mapping strength. Okay. This is already mapped. This thing I have shown you. Now you can see this course is the robotics course. Basically here we are supposed to write the levels of the Bloom's taxonomy. So describe, analyze, identify, that action verbs I am writing. Okay. So it is in the levels of the Bloom's taxonomy cognitive domain. हमारा पहला ये है analyze है, then apply है, then design है. Okay. Now here you can see S लिखा है मैंने, strongly mapped. That means this is strongly mapped to the knowledge. My CO1 is strongly mapped to the knowledge, but it is weakly mapped. Normally people, what do they do? Normally for the first 4 COs, they make a direct only strong mapping. They don't do the weak or medium mapping. But in this example, they have done it. Even if you do, doesn't matter. But ultimately, क्या होता है? Finally, you are supposed to justify that. You are supposed to give that justification. The evidence you are supposed to give. Why you have done this? Why you are strongly mapped? So that justification, I'll tell you why people are doing like that. Okay. So there are approaches. This is from my learning. I'm telling you, there are many more approaches, but in the limited scope of this session, I have decided to work, or these are the major 3 approaches. Faculty perception is the first approach. Second is the based on the assessment tools, that means the exam paper. And third is the AICT's examination reform policy. Now let us move ahead. First approach. First approach is what? A group of people are sitting together in the same subject. Mapping is based on the teacher's perception. That is old days, even when I used to sit for the 7-8 years back when our institute started doing MBA. My understanding also was like that only. This CO is, I have a strong gut feel that it is strongly matched to the engineering fundamentals. So let us map it to the PO1. Then it is strongly mapped to the design. Then it is, so that one-to-one mapping of the my perception. So maybe whenever the faculty is changing, his or her perception is changing. So that mapping is again going to change. And there are some criterion which we can say high, medium, strength. When will I write high or strongly mapped? If my infrastructure is very good, if my faculty is very competent, 30-year-old faculty is teaching, if all the tools, modern tools are available, if my supposing the CO is relevant to the industry readiness of the student, then really my institute is having so much of industry interaction. If all these questions are yes, 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 I'll also compare my institute with the IIT Bombay. Am I at par with the IIT Bombay infrastructure, IIT Bombay faculty? Then I myself will put there as a medium or low. I'll not put strong. But if everything is yes, 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 then I'll put the strong. That is one of the methodology. If you are simply teaching the syllabus oriented teaching, okay, model 6 है, model 6 पढ़ाया मैंने, ये assignment लेना था, लिया मैंने. That is the maybe medium connection you can put. And introductory teaching level. I mean, very junior faculty just recently joined, he or she is joining, he is teaching. उसको ही पता नहीं learning objective क्या है, outcome क्या है, and how he can strongly map that to the this thing. So that is the first approach. Okay, and in this approach, definitely same COs of a course can have different mapping levels when dealt by the different faculty members. Of course, whenever your NAAC peer team or visit is coming or experts are coming, then evidences must substantiate the claims of level of mapping. So even if in the NAAC, the weightage is only 50 marks for this 2.6.1 and 2.6.2, but still if you show them the attainment and if you show the maturity of the faculty in understanding the attainment, basically na attainment आपका 1 आता है, 2 आता है, 3 आता है, they are not interested. They are only interested whether the faculty members are following some methodology to have the assessment of attainment, CO attainment and PO attainment. That is what is their satisfaction is. If you are able to satisfy them, then definitely it is good. But definitely I cannot rely on my all the faculty and tell them that CO PO हो गया कि आपका जैसा के वैसा छाप दिया. ऐसा नहीं होता है. You have to decide the strength of mapping, and that is not flexibly given to the faculty. What I would say, even in the board of studies, of course, board of studies is more relevant to the curriculum, but maybe in the department advisory boards or maybe in my college, the mentor system is there. So mentoring, I mean cluster mentor, every cluster is having a senior faculty as a mentor. So he or she will go through all the mapping steps and then they will decide it's okay, fine. Now we can go ahead with this mapping. Somebody has to endorse that mapping whenever institute is going approving those COPO mappings. Specifically, whenever your subject itself is having some title as a digital, what you can say, digital VLSI design. So in that case, at least couple of COs you should design in a way that it is having the word as a design and development. So design and development words are supposed to be there. And responsibility of academic institute to provide facility, faculty, environment, conducive environment to achieve the expected COs. That is obvious. I mean, that is but natural. Okay, now let us move through the second approach. In the second approach, what I have told you based on the exam paper. Now in the affiliated institute, actually paper, last paper is by faculty, by university. So maybe mid-sem you can think of. So here, supposing my paper is like this, these are all my COs and they are mapped to the POs like this. And supposing in the mid same, now this is for 5 marks, but this is not attached to any PO. So I'll not consider this for the PO attainment. Supposing I am supposed to now do the CO attainment for CO2 and CO3, and for that I'm not going to the attainment. Supposing I want to map. So what strength I am putting right now? What we are learning approaches of mapping of strength mapping. I mean, low hai, medium hai, high hai. So one approach I have told you, faculty perception. Second approach is the exam paper. So here out of 25, 10 marks are given to this CO2 and CO3 ko 10 marks hai. So how can I move ahead? So you can see here, basically, again, I am just for your convenience, I have written here again all these things, but I have already explained you. The apply is PO1, then the analyze is PO2, evaluate is PO4, and creative is the PO3. That is the design and development. And accordingly, you will find that CO1 mein kya tha? CO1 mein there was no CO2 se start. CO1 mein kya tha yahan? You can see here, remembering and understand. So which is not mapped to any of the POs. But although in this example they have not shown, but I would say that it might be weakly mapped to the PO4, it might be weakly mapped to the some other thing. Okay, or at least PO1. If it is remember and understand, definitely it cannot go ahead than the apply knowledge, but you can have a weak mapping with the PO1, not further. Now you can see here CO2 is PO1, so that CO2 is PO1 here. Then CO3 is PO2, so CO3 is mapped to the PO3. CO3 is PO2 and CO4 is PO4. So this mapping is done. And Bloom's taxonomy level 3, 4, 6 and 5. Yahan ek ulta hai khali. Okay. So that is done. Okay. Next, what is that? Now next, how to do the strength of mapping. Okay. So now you can see here, what is here strength of mapping is 3 for CO2. Mera CO2 kitna tha? Mera CO2 tha 10 marks ka. I am showing here 10 marks ka CO2 hai. Out of 25, 10 marks are there. So 10 divided by 25, that is the 40%. So normally what do? They decide the threshold. If it is above 60%, then they give the above 30% or 40%. Everybody's threshold is different. So they have taken as a threshold as a suppose 30. So if it is greater than 30, yeah, it is written here. Less than 10 is the 1, between 10 to 30 is the 2, and greater than 30 is the 3. So it is coming out as a 40%. So I have taken here 3. Now here it is again 10 marks. CO3 is again 10 marks. So that is again 10 divided by 25 is 40. So that is the 3. Strength is 3. That is how they calculate. Now here assignments tha. But here total marks for assignment I have taken 3. And here 2 marks. Now these 2 COs would be satisfied, or attainment would be happening whenever I am giving the assignments. But now I am writing here PO4, PO9 and PO10. Okay. So there are 3 POs. Now what is the weightage given to the PO4? PO4 में 2 marks दिए हैं. So out of 3, 2 marks are to the PO4 and PO9 को 0.5 and PO10 को 0.5. So this is coming 16%, 16%. So I have written here 2 and 2, and here it is written as a 3. Okay. And likewise, also you can calculate for the PO6 and PO10 depending upon how much marks you are giving, which is strongly you feel that PO6 is more weightage because it is modern tool usage and PO6 is security issues. So that you can have a maximum marks. PO10 you can have a less marks. So based on the how much marks you are given, you can actually have a mapping strength. 3 likhna hai, 2 likhna hai, 1 likhna hai. That you can decide. So first is the faculty perception, second is based on the paper, and third, which is now AICT has issued these guidelines. AICT is not talking about the strength of mapping. AICT is only talking about the detailed guidelines for COPO mapping. And what are those? Now basically you all know that in Indian education system, we need to have many reforms in the examination. And the major reform is the adoption of outcome based education. आपल्याला पण माहिती आहे आपण फार रिलक्टंट आहोत हे असं आता माझं लेक्चर झाल्यावर तुम्ही म्हणताल बाप रे हे काय आहे आपण नकोच हे सीओपीओचा प्रश्न आपण ऑप्शनल मध्ये टाकू पण नाही टाकता येणार पण आय एम टेलिंग यू डोंट लुक ॲट इट फ्रॉम द NAAC पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू whenever outcome based education is a quality sustainability quality achievement initiatives हे सगळं तुम्हाला करायलाच लागणार आहे outcome based education मध्ये you can guarantee that whatever the product or the students after graduation those skills those attainment levels and अकॉर्डिंगली एक म्हणतो ना आपण एक काहीतरी एक चौकट किंवा काहीतरी एका फॉर्मॅट मध्ये आम्ही सगळी संस्था आणलेली आता तर ते तुम्हाला करायलाच लागणार आहे आणि बेसिकली इम्पॉर्टन्स ऑफ हायर ऑर्डर ॲबिलिटीज अँड प्रोफेशनल स्किल्स, म्हणजे क्रिएटिव्ह, अनालाइज, डिझाईन, याच्याकडे कसं जायचं, ह्या कशा इन्कल्केट करायच्या, ते रोट लर्निंग कसं ड्रॉप करायचं. पूर्वीच्या ह्याच्यामध्ये ते आपण कन्व्हेन्शनली रोट लर्निंगला आपण, आणि आता पण आपण काय करतो त्या पॅन्डेमिक मध्ये पण MCQs मध्ये काय होतंय, देर इज अदर आय मीन इट वुड डायग्रेस, I don't want to talk on that, but now AICT has given the policy and that is a two-step process. Okay, so first is the identify competencies to be attained for each PO. म्हणजे त्यांनी काय केलेलं आहे, POs ऑलरेडी दिलेले आहेत, पण आता मी तुम्हाला जसं सांगितलं PO मध्ये फारसं काही समजत नाही, हार्डली एनिथिंग, पहिल्या वेळेस तर काही डायजेस्टच होत नाही. मग त्यांनी काय केलं, त्याला थोडंसं अजून क्लॅरिफाय केलंय, त्यांनी त्याच्यात क्लॅरिटी जास्त आणली. म्हणजे या PO मध्ये तुम्हाला कोणती कॉम्पिटन्सी पाहिजे मुलाची, स्टुडंट्सची, सो दॅट दोज कॉम्पिटन्सीज आर आयडेंटिफाईड. म्हणजे मला ह्या 4 कॉम्पिटन्सीज पाहिजेत पहिल्या PO मधनं. सो द कॉम्पिटन्सीज त्यांनी डिफाईन केलेल्या आहेत आणि प्रत्येक कॉम्पिटन्सीला परफॉर्मन्स इंडिकेटर्स सांगितलेले आहेत. म्हणजे कुठला असेसमेंट टूल किंवा डिफाईन द परफॉर्मन्स दॅट आर एक्सप्लिसिट स्टेटमेंट्स ऑफ एक्सपेक्टेशन्स ऑफ स्टुडंट लर्निंग. म्हणजे एक्झॅक्ट त्या कॉम्पिटन्सी मध्ये मला काय लर्निंग एक्सपेक्टेड आहे. म्हणजे मला ना त्यांनी रिझोल्युशन अजून वाढवून दिलेले आहे, मायक्रो मध्ये गेलेले आहेत. आता माझं काम अगदी सोपं झालंय. म्हणजे मला या झाडावरनं ते फळ काढता येत नव्हतं, पण मला आता त्यांनी ब्रांचिंग करून दिले, हे असं हे असं हे असं, तुला या ब्रांच मधलं त्या 5व्या फांदीवरचं फळ काढून आणून दे. तर दॅट इज व्हॉट इज डन बाय द AICT. ओके, सो मी तुम्हाला दाखवते. सो बेसिकली हे प्रोग्राम आउटकम 1 आहे. तर त्यांनी काय केलं, दॅट व्हॉट दे हॅव डन, दे हॅव डिफाईन द 5 कॉम्पिटन्सीज. सपोज कॉम्पिटन्सी 1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. सो 3 कॉम्पिटन्सीज आउट ऑफ प्रोग्राम आउटकम 1. म्हणजे इंजिनिअरिंग फंडामेंटल्स, मॅथमॅटिक्स फंडामेंटल्स, सायन्स फंडामेंटल्स, आणि मग प्रत्येक कॉम्पिटन्सीला त्यांनी काही इंडिकेटर्स दिलेले आहेत. आणि दीज इंडिकेटर्स यू कॅन डायरेक्टली मॅप टू द असेसमेंट लेवल. म्हणजे तुम्ही समजा एखाद्या कोर्सच्या आउटकम मधनं काही निघत नसेल, तर हा प्रोग्राम आउटकम तुम्ही डायरेक्टली ह्या असेसमेंट टूल म्हणजे एखादी ऍक्टिव्हिटी करून करू शकता. आय टेल यू दॅट ऑल्सो. सो एक एक्झाम्पल देते मी तुम्हाला. I am really sorry for this slide, but everything is very difficult to write. Sometimes I have to take images. So engineering knowledge. आता see, competency काय, demonstrate competencies, competence in mathematical modeling, demonstrate competence in basic sciences, demonstrate competence in engineering fund. म्हणजे आता मला कसं झालंय, आता मला ह्याच्या वेगवेगळ्या कॉम्पिटन्सीज याच्यामध्ये काय आहेत ते कळल्यात. म्हणजे हे एवढं लांब लचक स्टेटमेंट डोक्यात घालून डायजेस्ट करण्यापेक्षा आता त्याचे पीसेस केलेत त्यांनी, जास्त रिझोल्युशन करून दिले तुम्हाला. आणि याच्यामध्ये पण मला अजून कळलंच नाही, डेमॉन्स्ट्रेट कॉम्पिटन्स इन मॅथमॅटिकल मॉडेलिंग. मग याच्यामध्ये त्यांनी परत 2 केलेले आहेत, अप्लाय द नॉलेज ऑफ डिस्क्रीट स्ट्रक्चर्स, लिनियर अल्जेब्रा आहे, आणि अप्लाय द कन्सेप्ट ऑफ प्रोबॅबिलिटी स्टॅटिस्टिक्स. मग आता मला अजून मायक्रो रिझोल्युशन मध्ये करून दिलेले आहे. त्याच्यामुळे रिझोल्युशन जितकं वाढलं तितकी माझी अॅक्युरेसी वाढणार काम करण्याची. म्हणजे आता डिग्री ऑफ डेव्हिएशन जे 2 फॅकल्टीमध्ये येत होतं, दॅट विल बी रिड्युस्ड स्लाइटली. आधी काय होतं, परसेप्शन, तुला तसं वाटलं, मला असं वाटलं, करून टाकलं. नंतर जरी PO दिले, CO दिले, पण तरी पण माझं परसेप्शन वेगळं आहे, मला वाटतं हा स्ट्रॉंगली होतो, वीकली होतो. आता तुम्हाला अजून क्लिअर करून दिले. म्हणजे जो डिग्री ऑफ डेव्हिएशन 2 फॅकल्टीमध्ये करण्यात येत होता, तो थोडासा कमी झालेला आहे आता. ओके, सो क्विकली आय विल टेल यू व्हॉट दिस मेथड इज. सो सी, आता इथे त्यांनी हा एक टेबल दिलेला आहे. सी, PO1, PO2, PO3 अप टू द PO8, आणि these are the CO's course outcomes. These are the 8 levels of course outcomes. So basically how many, what is TPI, total performance indicators, जे मी तुम्हाला आता दाखवले. कॉम्पिटन्सीज किती आहेत त्याच्यात, आणि परफॉर्मन्स इंडिकेटर्स किती आहेत. परफॉर्मन्स इंडिकेटर्स किती आहेत त्याच्यात, टोटल परफॉर्मन्स हे तिथे 5 आहेत. पहिल्या PO1 ला 5 आहेत, नंतरच्या PO2 ला 14 दिलेत त्यांनी, नंतरच्या PO3 ला परत टोटल परफॉर्मन्स इंडिकेटर्स 14 आहेत. आता त्याच्यातले मला किती मॅच झाले माझ्या एक्झाम्पल मध्ये, हाऊ मेनी दे हॅव मॅच्ड इन माय एक्झाम्पल. So map performance indicators. There are only 2 performance, CO7 and CO8 are mapped in my case. So how do I calculate mapping strength? The mapping strength is calculated like this. Now there are thresholds decided. See, if the level, percentage level is 0 to 34, I'll write the 1, 34 to 67, I'll write the 2, and 67 beyond, I'll write the 3. So how to find out these percentage levels? So that is nothing but the ratio of number of map performance indicators to the total number of PIs. आता CO8 ला काय 1 आहे, 1 out of 5 म्हणजे किती झालं ते, म्हणजे 20% झालं. म्हणजे दॅट इज लाईंग बिटवीन द 0 अँड 1, म्हणजे 34च्या खाली झालं ते, म्हणून मी इथे 1 लिहिलाय. इथे पण 1 आहे, म्हणजे 1 out of 5. ओके, दॅट इज ऑल्सो 1. म्हणजे इथे माझी स्ट्रेंथ ऑफ मॅपिंग 1 झाली. नाउ PO6 ला पहा तुम्ही. PO6 ला इथे 2 आहेत. आउट ऑफ 2 टोटल परफॉर्मन्स इंडिकेटर्स, माय 1 परफॉर्मन्स इंडिकेटर इज मॅप्ड. म्हणजे आउट ऑफ 2 1 म्हणजे 50% मॅपिंग झालंय माझं. बरोबर आहे. 50% म्हणजे इट इज लाईंग बिटवीन 34 and 67. म्हणजे 2 ला जाणार ते. म्हणून ऑल दिस PO6 आय हॅव रिटन ऍज अ 2 to 2. Okay. If this division of ratio of total performance or the mapped indicators to the total indicators, if it is going beyond 67, then you can write 3. Okay. Now here nowhere it is written 3 because त्यांचं मॅपिंग 1 आणि 2 मध्ये सॅटिस्फाईड आहेत. म्हणजे ते तिथेच मॅप होत. Now you have got the perfect guideline. Excuse me. So this is called as the COPO mapping, and this is the second step. First step is you are supposed to map this. This is the second step. Okay, and these are the 3 approaches which I have told you. But I would suggest you to go by the third approach, provided UGC has given you the such a kind of performance indicators and competencies. I am really honestly admitting that I am not aware whether that is available or not. Probably I can get educated from you people only. So, but now you will talk to me that madam cognitive kai ho gaya abhi tak, baki ke POs kaise satisfy honge, wo kaise attain honge, skill and attitude related. So what we can do for that, we can design one what is called as the activity or maybe event. Maybe in the course itself you can have that event, or maybe at the department level you can have an event. Whenever you are doing it at the course, then it is your duty to map it to the certain PO. When it is at the department level, directly that activity can be mapped to the PO. Okay, so based on that you can actually skill and attitude related POs can be satisfied. I'll tell you how this can happen. So you can see here improving structure and quality of assessment. As I have told you, this applying, understanding and remember, and to some extent analyze, to some extent this fixed hour examinations jo hamara rehta hai, usme we can ask questions on this, and this lower order thinking lots can be very well attained through the examination. But higher order thinking skills, analyzing, evaluate, create, so there are various ways and means by which you can obtain it. But whenever you are doing that, then for every that activity, course project, mini project, minor, capstone means final year's project. So what you have to do, you have to have a rubric for each and everything. Skills, communication skills. मग तुम्ही एक छोटा टेबल करा, presentation ला किती, skills ला किती, content delivery ला किती, and then that you give the marks, and then you are supposed to map those rubrics. Okay, so that is assignments, various activities you are supposed to do for assessing these skills, learning levels. So I'm also providing you use of modern tools, hands-on experience. Okay, software tools, so that PO can be satisfied with this type of activity. Ethical practices, you can give some assignments and you can tell them complete this within the deadline. If they are crossing the deadline, then that is not an ethical conduct. Our assignment submitted before the deadline, so that can be taken as a rubrics or the criterion. Individual and teamwork, this is definitely done through the projects. Projects मध्ये काय असतं, 4 लोकांचं किंवा 2 लोकांचं, 3 लोकांचं असतं. I don't know about your cases, but case studies, group discussions, communication skills. मग इथे तुमच्या त्या oral presentation मधल्या skills त्याच्यात तुम्ही एक rubric डिझाइन करू शकता. Then project management, lifelong learning, या सगळ्यासाठी तुम्ही थोड्या activities डिझाइन करू शकता. And then document writing skills, report writing, whether how he has presented, whether he has presented in a timely given deadlines or not. So that is all is demonstrated here. आणि मी मागे एका ठिकाणी तुम्हाला सांगितलं डोमेन डिपेंडेंट म्हणजे ते तुमच्या कोर्स मधनं होतात आणि डोमेन इंडिपेंडेंट. So that is what is listed here. What are the domain dependent and what are the domain independent? How do we evaluate or do the attainment? So that is the only tools I have written in the bracket. Maybe whatever I have told, it is the one and the same thing. Project, self-learning, assignment, PBL. PBL is a very well buzzword since long. I mean, problem-based learning. You give a real-life problem to the students and try to get the solution from the students, which they will learn lifelong. I mean, whenever they do with their own thinking and applying their knowledge, analyzing that information, then definitely that is a lifelong learning. It will remain in their mind. Okay. So I don't know whether you are in a mood to have this quiz, but quickly tell me, is this the correct mapping? This is definitely yes or no? All are there with me? I don't know. Strength is reducing.
Yes, we are there.
Okay. So is this the correct mapping? I have given CO and POs, and every CO is mapped to the PO2. Of course, this is not a correct mapping because it is the define. That means this is the understand and level. Apply is what? PO1. It has to be here. PO1. Analyze. Analyze is the which level? Design. Design is a create level. That is the Bloom's taxonomy 6th level. And where is the design in the PO? It is the 3rd level. So it is to be PO3. Investigate is the 4th level. So it has to be the PO4. So therefore it is not the correct one. This is also not a correct mapping. I'll answer now because short of time is there. We have to have some questions also. So 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 everywhere. How can it be 1, 1, 1 weekly mapped to all the, and nothing is possible. I mean, all COs cannot be mapped to the all POs. Okay, this is also not correct, that a single CO is satisfying all the POs. That is never possible. So that is not a correct mapping. This mapping is also not correct because here COs are correct, but the mapping is not correct. Okay, because apply, I think this is the same slide which I have shown earlier. So mapping is correct, but this is not acceptable. And the last point, reflection in CO and PO. I have just listed the questions. So this is the student performance and learning outcomes. So this 2.6.1 question is asked, program outcomes and course outcomes for all programs offered by the institution are stated and displayed on the website and communicated to teachers and students. What does it mean? That you have formulated your course outcomes, program outcomes maybe UGC has given to you or university has given to you, and then it is only asked, I mean, it is while filling the SSR or ACAR, a nice listing of all COs, program wise, discipline wise, specialization wise, you are supposed to do and display it on your website. That link they are asking, as well as you are supposed to tell them in digital media, website, departmental notice boards, then your diaries, maybe your induction period in the classrooms, maybe your teaching learning plan, wherever you are displaying these POs and COs, that list they are expecting. Displayed on website and communicated to teachers and students. What are the ways and means? Although they are only telling display on the website, you in your answer write what all places are there wherein you have actually displayed this COs and POs. And then attainment of program outcomes and course outcomes are evaluated by the institution. The answer is, if you are writing the answer as yes, if you are doing so, methodology is expected in the 500 words. Describe the method of measuring attainment of PO, PSO and COs. I have not told you the PSO word, but like PO and CO mapping, the same rules are applicable for PSO and CO mapping. Or you can do PO1, PO2, PO12, and after that you can write PSO1, PSO2, PSO3. So that is the way you can do this. And I think in this answer to this question, you are supposed to tell the methodology. What is the attainment methodology you are following? I mean, direct tools, indirect tools. Since it is beyond the scope and limit of this session and that is not covered under the title, I have not included that, but quickly I'll tell you brief about the attainment of COs and POs. So basically PO attainment, the major contribution is from the direct assessment tool is the course outcome attainment. So maybe I have given the 80% weightage to the direct CO attainment, and indirect assessment tools are the student exit survey, then employer survey. Exit survey means whenever they are graduating, because it is a PO attainment. So that time you are taking the survey. Then employer survey, from the employer you are taking how our students are, whether they are skillful or whether their skill set is substantial enough or not. Then co-curricular activities you are explicitly carrying out to have the attainment of some of the POs, because none of the coursework is supposing satisfying to the ethical conduct, or there are some subjects, I mean, in the cross-cutting technologies and in the gender, that question is there, wherein many of the POs we can consider, but that kind of, I mean, that is very little satisfying. in those subjects, some POs are getting covered. But you can explicitly design some co-curricular activities, extracurricular activities. Co-curricular means which is not there in the syllabus, but allied to the syllabus, and extracurricular, and that weightage you can give. That is the PO attainment you can do. And in the course attainment, PO attainment, you can map even the COs. Supposing this is the attainment level from the 101, this is the 401 course. PO1 is mapped to all these courses. All these courses are giving in the contribution to the PO1. So how many are giving the weak contribution? How many are giving the strong contribution? So that is how these colors I have kept the different. Okay. Oh. And now the CO attainment, normally in the autonomous institute, definitely you can give larger weightage to the continuous internal evaluation, because you have that component strong enough, because end semester also you are only conducting. In case of affiliated, end semester is conducted by university, and majority of the syllabus is there, so 80% weightage is given. Here the 20% weightage is given. So here continuous internal evaluation, again the midterm tests, assignments, mini projects, reports, presentation, case studies, group discussions, capstone project, everything you can consider in the continuous internal evaluation. And there is a specific method of calculating the attainment level, which is not possible to cover in this session. So weightage, as per the weightage end semester attainments are calculated. Supposing the attainment is 111, I test again 20% is divided internal into the 50% of 20%, 25% of 20, and 25% of 20. That is assignments and experiments. And then individual attainments are calculated, and then they are averaged out, and then total attainment of the course is calculated. Here is the 0.925 for this course. Okay, depending upon the weightages, these weightages. So these weightages are written in those formulas down. 0.2 into 0.5 plus 0.25 plus 0.25. So that is how the attainments are actually calculated. So I think this slide already I had shown you, but this is the final slide through which you can get the niche jo dikhta hai, correction level. The attainment is 2 here, attainment is 3 here, attainment is 1 year. So that is how the CO attainment can be calculated. And these are the references. There is a book by Spady for outcome-based education. That is a very good book. And then this is the Office of Planning and Assessment from the Texas Tech University. That document was available. Then AICT's reform policy, UGC learning outcome based, and in the official website. These are the sites which I have used. And I cannot forget to give the acknowledgement to my friend Dr. Shaila Subbaraman, who is ex-professor in the Department of Electronics at Walchand College of Engineering, Sangli. Because she is really expert in this domain, and wherever I find some dilemma or doubts, I discussed it with her. And Dr. Professor Mandar Soni from ONO, who is NBA coordinator of our institute. And since UGC and everything, higher education, what is happening, I was not aware about all these things. I spoke to Dr. Nanavare also. He also helped me in getting my ideas clear about the higher education, for which I was not aware about. So I would like to end this session with a quote that you can teach a student a lesson for a day, but if you can teach him to learn by creating curiosity, he will continue the learning process as long as he lives. So that is the difference, the teacher, how content delivery is going to a teacher, from a teacher to a student. And this Albert Einstein's very famous quote, education is not the learning of facts, but the training of the mind to think. So we are unfortunately very much lagging or lacking in training the minds of students to think, critical thinking, creative thinking, giving stimulations to their mind, to think over, to solve the problem, to investigate the results. So I really like this quote. And with this, thank you very much for patient hearing till 6 o'clock. This is my mobile number and this is my email address. By any chance, if you have any doubts later also, you feel free to call me anytime. In my institute also, we are planning to have one-day workshop on this, so that other experts also we can have call and solve your doubts to a larger extent. So thank you very much. And now the session is open for discussions.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Joshi, and I will take a few questions for you. Can we include compare and contrast in the COs? The two words, can we include these two words, compare and contrast, in the COs?
Yeah, compare and contrast is very much possible.
Okay. There's another question. Do we need to match the...
चलो हो गया, प्रोग्राम खत्म हो गया मेरा, मैडम.
Do we need to match the graduate attributes with POs?
Actually, graduate attributes and program attributes are one and the same only. The thing is that if you are formulating your own program outcomes, then it is advisable to have in alignment with the graduate attributes. Earlier, people used to do that. What is difference is that the PSOs are different from the graduate attributes, because you are supposed to embed all the graduate attributes in the 2-3 PSOs. That is the difference.
Ma'am, there's one more question which says that does the PO need to be assessed after 5 years of completing the entire program?
PEO?
Yes.
Yes, program educational objectives are normally evaluated after 4 to 5 years. From the alumni, they send a questionnaire to the alumni and or the employer survey. Both of these documents are useful to assess the PEOs.
Okay. Ma'am, one more question. Can we map one co-curricular activity or extracurricular activity simultaneously to 2 different subjects? Or it would be just to one particular subject only?
No. See, co-curricular activities meaning that it is not from the syllabus, it is allied to the syllabus. So if that co-curricular activity, supposing your PO attainment you are doing, you are mapping it to the POs. Supposing in your subject also that activity is helpful to you, and after your course outcomes, PO1, PO2, PO3, if you are writing that activity, supposing some, you can take for example some projects, mini projects. Of course, that is not common, but that you can actually attend, making the attainment or making the mapping to some PO7 or PO8. And in your case also that activity is helpful. And if you have contributed, your students have contributed, basically not you, your students have contributed. Because ultimately this attainment, CO or PO, we are doing for the abilities, learning skills of the students. So if they are enriched in that, your students also, so definitely you can take, if they are participating in that activity.
Okay. So these were the questions which we got. So if anyone wants to ask any other question.
I think Sangeeta ji, with your permission, can we have direct questions, few more?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah, I think there is a hand raised by Dr. Neeta Mehta. Neeta Mehta, are you online? Because there is a hand raised.
No, I think that was by mistake, sir.
Okay, all right. Because your hand was raised by you, and therefore I thought of. Is it Kundlik Mali? Kundlik Mali?
Yes, sir.
Please. Please tell your name. Your name is there, but please let us know your college name.
Yeah, myself, Dr. Kundalik Mali from MIT World Peace University, Pune. My question is there any scientific method available to map the COs with PO? Because we have seen 3 methods are there, but is there any scientific method available? Because every college will adopt any one method out of these 3. What is explained by
No, sir, even I would say that these 3 methods also, as per my knowledge, I have provided you. Basically, this is an evolving process. I mean, even the thought process is getting matured. AICT also thought of recently only to have a reform in the examination policy, and that is how they have provided this document, and now people are using this document. So you may say that the document from the authorities or the regulatory bodies, that is the last scheme, AICT's examination reform policy. And if you are the only thing is that whatever the policy you, whatever the method or approach you follow, the evidence or justification you are supposed to give. Whenever peer team comes, you are supposed to justify why your strength of mapping is 3 you have put, why she has put 1, why you have put 2. So if you are able to justify, any method will be acceptable. That is the whole story.
Correct. And got it, ma'am. Just one thing again. Yes, sir.
माळी सर, मला असं वाटतं की अथॉरिटी कडनं, UGC कडनं, AICT कडनं कुठल्या प्रकारची इव्हॅल्युएशन मेथोडॉलॉजी वापरावी याच्यापेक्षा आपण ऑटोनॉमस महाविद्यालयात आपण स्वतःची काही व्यवस्था निर्माण केली तरी उत्तम आहे. आणि त्या व्यवस्थेचं जर काही जस्टिफिकेशन आपण देऊ शकलो तरी उत्तम आहे. मला असं वाटतं मॅडमनी ज्या तिन्ही अप्रोचेस दिलेत त्या तिन्ही अप्रोचेस पैकी जो अप्रोच आपण जी व्यवस्था राबवणार आहोत त्याच्यासाठी जर तो योग्य असेल तर तो अप्रोच मला वाटतं सायंटिफिक असं म्हणायला काहीच हरकत नाही.
करेक्ट बरोबर आहे सर, बरोबर.
प्रतिभा देशमुख, नेक्स्ट प्रतिभा देशमुख. Pratima Deshmukh, are you online?
Yes, sir.
Please,
Good evening, madam.
let us know your college name.
This is DS Chintamandra Institute of Management, Sangli, sir. CMDR Sangli.
Okay, thank you, madam.
Yeah, madam, it was
please.
great to have interaction. And we are into an MBA this one, and there has been a lot of confusion, especially for MBA, because whenever we get a guideline, they are basically 90% of them are being taken into consideration while looking into the engineering this one. And the what we find in management and engineering is quantification. Engineering can do easily a quantification, and for management, we find it little difficult to quantify everything. Example subject like ethics, and again 1, 2, 3 as a perception wise means when I say my attainment is 1, 2, or 3, and I have an ethics subject where we really fail into actually quantifying those aspects and relating that with the COs and POs, and especially when we are affiliated with the university. We find that difficult. So what you will suggest for on that?
No, this last method which I have given now, that is the AICT's exam reform policy. Supposing your POs are available with you, and then supposing even if AICT has not given you the competency levels and the indicator levels, I mean indicators out of those competencies. So if
yes,
you are
indicators
able to,
are not there. Yeah.
So you are able to break down those POs into competency levels. You can just look at some other subject. I mean, attributes are same. Your MMS attributes are same. So those competency level and indicator levels, if you look into now, then your life is simple. I mean, now more guidelines, more depth is given to you. Your bucket is now more sorted. You are just simply able to pick up properly with the action verbs and the slight gut feel. Then probably your job would be more simple. That is how one can go, and it is all a learning practice experience. One day you cannot learn all these things. I mean, there is no cut paste technology. You can just take this and do this CO mapping. You have to experience, you have to live into that. And slowly over the period, whenever today you find your course outcomes are not matured enough, tomorrow you may find that no, I have not put that design word there, or students are not able to design because my learning outcome mein wo tha hi nahi hai. And basically the whole story is that what you are expecting your students to do, they will be able to do. Their skills, knowledge and ability, their skills, their perform, their demonstrations with the help of the knowledge they have achieved and skill set they have acquired. So that is what is more important. So concentrate on that. And my submission is that in the class also, every time you tell your students that these are your learning outcomes. I am teaching you, but you try to see that whether you are able to gain out of that in this fashion or not. That is what is more important. So sensitizing students as if they are the customers and they have every right to attain those levels of learning outcome is most important thing. Okay.
Yes. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, Madam Sangeeta. I think there are no more questions. Anybody is having any questions? If there are no questions, I think I should thank Madam Sangeeta that you have taken care and you could complete entire session for 3 hours without any rest, right? So it's good.
It is really commendable.
Thank you.
Madam, special thanks from me, because this quantification was absolutely necessary. Because when it is to converting your knowledge levels and teaching and learning process to numbers, and when you want to bring the objectivity, it becomes really.
Sima madam, tumse video on kara. Let us see your expressions also.
Right.
That is always, correct.
No, I felt really very happy, as I said, because this quantification was absolutely necessary. As Pabrekar sir and Joshi sir has recently, I mean, in the beginning of this session, they have said that this process has not started yet in our arts, science and commerce colleges. And as you said correctly, that now the days are gone, that whatever I wanted to teach, I have taught. I have completed the syllabus. So you have to go beyond that, and that is what it is very much. It was very much essential, and I really appreciate the trouble you have taken, because you have gone out of your faculty. I mean, I could imagine or visualize that the way you have taken the efforts, and try to bring in the things which they can relate to, whether it is food science, whether it is arts faculty, whether it is commerce, and so on. So I think it is basically they will have to bring in the analogy with their subject so that they will be able to contribute. I mean, hats off to you. I mean,
Thank you, madam. Thank you, Seema, madam. Joshi sir, you want to say something, or shall we end over the session? Joshi sir.
No, thank you so much,
we
madam.
will have a vote of thanks.
That is okay. Because I want, yeah.
When Dr. Pabrekar said it is a gathering of all these faculties, then in the beginning I thought it as an opportunity, and definitely it is an opportunity every time. All the assignments I take it as an opportunity only, and in this case I thought it as a major challenge to me, and the threat was that whether my compatibility factor will be satisfied enough or not.
Right.
That was my threat out of whole the session. But I hope and wish that to some extent it is understood to everybody, at least the terminologies.
Yeah. No, because of your menti.com made the magic so that everybody was contributing to your session.
Involvement, yeah.
It was, they were involved.
Right. Thank you. Now over to, yeah.
Now, can I request Dr. Mrugakshi Rajhans to propose the vote of thanks, please?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening to one and all. I take this opportunity on behalf of Deccan Education Society's BRIHAN Maharashtra College of Commerce and RUSA to thank.
Please make the video on.
So my lighting over here, the lights are off.
Okay, no problem.
All right.
Please go ahead.
Go ahead.
She is our faculty from finance. She is basically.
No problem.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Continue.
You, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. On behalf of Deccan Education Society's BRIHAN Maharashtra College of Commerce and RUSA, I thank Dr. Sangeeta Joshi for enlightening us on the topic, for formulating COs, POs, and PSOs, and mapping their reflection in ACAR. The simplest way ma'am has explained the outcome-based education, stressing on what students are able to learn. The quote which ma'am included, the best teachers are those who show the students where to look and don't tell the students what to see. We will always remember this, ma'am. Thank you for including or making the link between Bloom's taxonomy with Bhagavad Gita. That was a great thing, ma'am. Thank you, Pabrekar sir, Joshi sir, Principal ma'am, Varsha ma'am, and Bharti ma'am for giving me this opportunity. Thank you all.
Announcement for tomorrow, please, Varsha madam.
Yes. So tomorrow we will be commencing this session at 3 p.m. sharp. We request all of you to join 10 minutes earlier. It will be also followed by the valedictory session and we'll have eminent personalities at the valedictory session as well. So we request all of you to be kindly present on time. Thank you so much and stay safe all.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Any further feedback will also be shared in the chat box as well as on the Telegram group. Kindly fill up the feedback form for today. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam, माझ्याकडे एक चहा तुम्हाला स्पेशल.
Thank you.
Non-stop you are taking a lecture.
I mean, really.
Yeah. It is true. It is real.
We do.
Can I end the session?
Yes, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye, everyone.
Yes, sir, can we just wait for some time?
Okay.
We can ask the other participants to leave, but we would like the organizer could please stay on.
Please continue. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. हो बंद कर देव करते हैं
नाही मॅडम उद्याचा सिक्वेन्स वगैरे आपल्याला थोडंसं बोलायचं
मी तिकडे येते नाही तर आय विल कम टू रूम आय विल कम टू द रूम
ओके पाब्रेकर सर आणि आहेत का दे लेफ्ट
नाही पाब्रेकर सर लेफ्ट झाले हो लेफ्ट झाले जोशी सर पण लेफ्ट झाले
ठीक आहे आम्ही येतो म्हणजे
चालेल
ओके मी एंड करू
हो करा
ओके थँक्यू